distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly, so get it in your head.
Check the backseat.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Matt and Josh, good morning.
Matt. What's up? Kind of tired.
That guy was in Lincoln last night.
How you feeling running on the normal amount of sleep that I get each and every day?
Not in my best shape right now.
You look good.
Are you sure? Because I think I look like hell. I got bags under my eyes.
How much sleep do you normally get?
Well, you do have bags under you.
That's why I didn't want to take these pictures today.
They're still going to be there tomorrow.
The bags?
Yeah, you're in your 30s with a kid. Just accept it.
No,
He's got a point.
No, I can.
Were you going to get your beauty sleep tonight?
Yeah.
What time are you going to go to bed?
You should. I don't know. I'll try for hopefully maybe 9:30.
Whoa! Wow.
What does that sound like? Because we don't have any sports to watch tonight. I've been looking forward to this night for a long time.
I haven't done one to
Sportsless
watch.
night.
There's no sports tonight.
There is definitely sports tonight.
Well, I mean, no,
Real sports.
no Creighton, no Nebraska,
NBA.
no
what are
NFL.
you talking about? Arizona plays Arizona State tonight at 9:30.
Okay, so I don't watch those.
So
games.
there are no sports
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. I know
Howard did
Arizona's
admit to
number one.
having an East Coast bias when it comes to sports.
I do.
Well, I remember you.
It's fascinating because we're here in the Central Time Zone.
You do. You have an East Coast.
East of the Rockies.
You okay? I was about
Bias.
to say. What is? I didn't know you had an East Coast bias. I didn't know you were
I'm an
a
East
Yankee
Coast guy.
hawk.
I'm a New Yorker
Yes, from the White Plains.
from White Plains,
Yes,
just like my boy Colin in White Plains.
I know. Colin from White Plains has been emailing me a lot. Shout out, Colin.
That's
He's the
good.
best.
How are you, Matt? You didn't probably.
I'm going to
sleep.
be honest with you guys. My QOL hasn't been higher in quite some time.
QOL.
I'm going to admit something. You said that to me in the office this morning. I have no idea what that means.
What's that mean?
Quality of life.
Oh, okay, great.
And what did you say about your?
It's never been higher in quite some
it's
time.
good.
He's getting
Okay.
the sleep that he wasn't getting. previously.
Exactly.
I
It's-
figured you'd probably enjoy it.
It's literally that. Like I have not gotten 7 hours of sleep back to back nights in literally maybe since I was 19.
Good job.
Like this has been awesome. It's been incredible. Even on the nights where I have Blue Jay overtime at 8:00, which is part of the reason why I originally didn't want to do Blue Jay overtime was, well, if I do it at 8, I'm not going to get out of here until 1:00, and I got to wake up 3 hours later, to do the morning show. That problem has solved itself. So I got home at 12:15 yesterday.
It's interesting.
The
Interesting
problem
phrasing.
has solved itself.
Yeah. And so now I get to, even when I got home at 12:15 yesterday and didn't get into bed until 1:15, I still got
The
6
problem
hours of
has
sleep.
solved itself for you,
Yeah. Oh, in terms of my sleep.
not for some others.
I do want to commend you for sticking to your normal routine and listening to the Mac interview live in person instead of just, I got to wake up in the morning.
I still got to know. Also,
You could have listened to it in the car.
That Mac
Like,
interview
you,
is
You
awesome.
stayed to it.
75% of it is that. Like, I still got to know what's going on. The other 25% is I know if I leave the second the game ends, which I technically could, I'm just going to be fighting traffic and be triggered for 40 straight minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair point.
I don't want to do that either.
Very active.
So I figured I'd just stay and
that
go.
that parking lot sucks.
It's bad. Downtown is a disaster.
It's a calamity. Like the first Creighton game that I went to was the Marquette game where Jemiah Neal went off in the last 8 minutes in
Great
that
times.
big victory.
I remember him.
He was
We miss you, Jemiah.
dude. Late game Jemiah was a thing, and it was fun to watch.
Or when Hassan Diarra tried to fight him.
Yeah, and literally tried to the legit square up. Dude.
Great times.
Great times
Schaefer's
indeed.
learning about Big East basketball today.
I did. Etsy Witches.
Etsy Witch.
Meh.
Matty
Yeah.
A and his latest issues.
Yeah, you guys were bringing up Maddie A.
Abdel Massey.
Oh yeah.
Matty A.
That's your boy.
My boy? It's not my boy.
You're a Nebrasketball honk.
I am a Nebrasketball honk. We'll be talking, but I feel like I'm doing a good job of giving
honking on all sides.
No, not honking at all sides.
Honk
On
it
giving
here, honk it there.
we are the home of Blue Jay basketball. I am the host of its postgame show. I have to give the proper amount of respect and time and detail to Creighton basketball while I am not a honk. I'm not a fan. I'm just a reporter.
So you're not a honk. I thought you just admitted you were a honk.
I'm a honk for
As
Nebraska
I said, you're
basketball.
honking on all sides.
I'm not honking on all sides. I'm honking on Nebraska's side because I went to Nebraska and I went to a lot of Nebraska basketball games before they were good. They were good.
Any part of you wish
That was
you
a lot.
were,
That was all of them, basically, until now.
Shouldn't you be in Chicago this weekend? Wouldn't this be the best weekend? for
Yeah,
you
I
to be
was
in Chicago
I
imaginable?
was really pissed off that I kind of missed the Northwestern Nebraska game by only like 2 weeks, which kind of sucked. But no, I'm not going. I'm going back to Chicago in February. I'm not going back this weekend.
Why don't you just take a little drive?
No, my
Take the
car's got
Greyhound.
What about the
109,000
bus?
miles on it.
Just jump on the bus.
No, I don't want to take the
15
bus.
bucks, you'll be there.
First off,
Your
the-
show gets done at 2.
The
and-
bus would take me like 48 hours to get there. It would take
No,
forever.
exactly.
Not 48 hours.
It'd take you like 9, but
It would take me 9 hours.
9 or 12 or
I
something.
think it's
No,
like 12. You
it
can
would
leave.
take 12.
I don't know. We'll look it up. Do you want me to?
it's a
schedule this?
red
Can
eye.
Can I
You can get there in
Yeah.
time to go to the game
Can I-
on Saturday.
Can I be honest with you guys? I don't like flying because I'm not in control of the plane. I would hate being on a bus because I'm not in control of the bus, and it would be
So
10 hours long.
all right, can we go back?
Think of the
45.
show prep you could do coming back on the bus.
Am I-
after that
wow.
Bears game.
Great point.
I know I would have a ton of
So
prep.
can we go back to this real quick? You just said that you didn't want to drive because your car has 109,000 miles on it.
It's look,
Wouldn't that make it like more
It's
trustworthy?
broken in.
Yeah.
no, it's broke. It's breaking. It's
Broken in,
No,
not
no, no, no,
broken
no, no,
down.
no. It's breaking. It's my. I'm getting a new car
At
this year
109,000. It's breaking
because it's not like a Toyota or a Ford or one of those
It's that
very.
German engineering.
It's German engineering, and it's
They don't
one.
last very long.
Not
that what-
really.
Is that the
I
book
mean,
on them?
historically,
really.
German engineering has
Failed. Yeah, especially in the cold. When you're trying to march through somewhere in the cold, German engineering doesn't always hold up.
Alright. Okay.
One, I'm
Under.
trying marching through
I mean,
Iowa.
I guess I've never thought of Iowa as Stalingrad, but here we are.
Full question.
Is Iowa Stalingrad?
There you go.
No,
Put her
it
out
would. It's one of those things, and also too, like when those parts in my car start breaking, you might as well just buy a new car because it's so expensive. So it's just not. It's just not worth to try and drive that thing that already has a cylinder misfiring. 7 hours. All
Could
the way to
rent a car.
Chicago. No, I can't. I'm not even old enough to do that.
Oh my God.
That's right.
I forgot about
People
that.
forget.
Oh man, we're back into
Yeah.
the born after 9/11, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Okay,
Wow.
so the bus is an option. Have you considered the Amtrak?
I'm not going to Northwestern versus Nebraska. First off, it's going to be a bludgeoning. All right. I don't know how much Northwestern basketball you guys have watched this year.
0.
They're terrible.
We
They're
need
awful.
boots on the ground reporting.
They are awful this
Shouldn't
year.
you, as an alum, wouldn't you want to go watch the bludgeoning?
Let me check Southwest.
And
First
then you
off-
get to chase it with Rams Bears the next day
yeah.
in your city.
Now that is a conversation that might have to be had. What
Back
do I
in
do if the
Chicago.
Bears make it to the Super Bowl?
I don't think that you have to worry about that conversation, but I can understand wanting to
I'll-
have plans.
I'll go on record here and say if the Bears go to the Super Bowl, we are not sending you to the game.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to say
You
something.
could go in
productive.
Chris's little backpack. Or
Oh
something.
yeah. Chris is probably going.
Yeah,
yes.
Chris is going.
You think I could try and like make an agreement with Chris to like get me into his luggage or something?
He will at
like
least
that?
bring you back like some flip cards.
Yeah.
You'll have some memorabilia.
But like, if the Bears make the Super Bowl, I would want to go back home to Chicago. But the problem is that then like I can't take the Monday of the Super Bowl off, especially
You cannot.
if the Bears win. That would be great radio. If the Bears lose,
I
it would
can't
probably
imagine
be
that being qualified as great radio. But
that would be. Wow. I'm gonna be honest. Like there are a lot of people who are like, "Oh, the one midday show is gonna turn into a Chicago show." It's not. All right, it's not. It's not gonna turn into that. It hasn't turned into that in the last couple of days. At the same time, that show would be a Chicago show.
Went out of his way to not talk Bears Packers Monday.
Why? Because people are all like freaking out about it.
As a
why do you
mid-
care about what they think?
As a middle
Because they
finger to
listen
the
to
you
me.
do
Hayes.
not want to care about what they think.
I care about. I definitely care about what my listeners think, without a doubt. If my listeners,
so your
want
listeners already drove you away from talking about the most
do whatever
exciting
show you
NFL
want to
game?
do.
I didn't. First off, I didn't have to do a deep dive into a Bears game that happened 2 days ago. Okay, it was great comeback. They won. Awesome. It was the greatest night of my life. Okay, it was.
All right.
Why would I want to talk about it on the radio?
Yeah, it was a top. I wouldn't say it's the greatest night of my life. It was top 5. It was top 5. We went to Sandy's one time on a Thursday in college, and that will never be beaten. That was great. That was a great night.
So the show is like, I mean, it's your show. It's
I know.
It's about you.
But I'm serving the listener too.
Of course you.
And I want to talk. I am. That's my outlook on it. All right. I know that there's certain things that they want to talk about that I will go out of my way to educate myself on and to give them proper information to form their own opinions. Right. I know that not everybody was sitting there just waiting for me to spew all about, the Chicago Bears game and how,
what if they're like
the
this
sins
Matt
of-
guy? I want to know how his emotions were running as this was going on. They were down 21-3 at half.
I'm not going
It looked horrible.
A lot of Bears fans in town, a lot of Packers
Give the
fans
people
in town.
a piece of you.
The negative trade-off here is that you will be expected to be sulking and sad when they lose to the Rams this weekend.
I know. And
you'll have to talk about it.
I will talk about it. Yeah.
But you didn't even get the good part. They beat the Packers in a crazy comeback in a playoff game, and you didn't talk about it.
I got to talk about it. Why wouldn't you get to talk about it?
I think the message I was trying to send the message that I sent, which is don't worry, I'm not going to, this is not a
Message
Chicago
received.
show. The message is received. It won't be Chicago built. That's it. That's all it was.
Anyway, Nebraska Northwestern this weekend.
So
Amtrak, let me look at the schedule here.
Northwestern basketball team is like the Rutgers basketball team last season if their 2 players weren't going to get drafted in the top 15.
Okay. Just bad then?
Just bad. Yeah, just straight up. They have 2 guys who are viable at scoring the basketball, and everybody else is super young and sucks and doesn't know what they're doing.
Nice.
They don't have an IQ. They don't know how to do what Chris wants them to do. But they got this guy named Nick Martinelli, and he's like averaging 24 points per game.
Oh, he's balling?
One of the best scorers in the country.
Nice.
Nick Martinelli made the All Big Ten first team last year.
Nice.
He's great. He's one of the best, suburb Chicago high school basketball players ever. It was great. Him and his brother Don Martinelli played on Glenbrook South, and they won a lot of basketball games for GBS. Don went to Northwestern, then he transferred, and now Nick is like one of the best Northwestern basketball players ever.
Amazing.
Fun facts about the Cats.
He's about to get locked up by Sam Hoiberg.
Literally. That
How do
is
you feel about casual
Put that on your
brutality
resume.
as a description to describe Nebraska basketball?
I think that is
Incredible.
I don't think there's anything casual about it, though. I think it's just brutality. I think
I think the casual part is that it
The even
sort of
keeled
just
nature of
it just
all
kind
of
of happens to you without realizing that you're being brutalized.
Sure. You just blink your eyes and are like, how are we down 17?
Exactly.
Wait a minute. Bryce Sanford and Braden Frager just nailed these 3-pointers on back-to-back possessions. Now we're down. We went from down 8 to 14. And then suddenly it's 20.
And now we have 14,000 people just all in our ear right now. We can't hear anything in the huddle.
All up in your grill.
Very, very casually brutal for sure.
I love the description.
I think it's a great description. I just think Nebraska basketball is a great team. They're just great.
Mm-hmm.
I
They'll
don't know.
definitely win an NCAA tournament.
And I
game.
can't.
Worst bit. Just a trash bit.
Why is it a trash bit? They're going to. They are
Not
going
in how
to.
he's saying it.
I'm going to keep saying it. Because they will. They'll definitely win. They'll for sure win.
Oh, no. A new segment. Fun facts about the Cats. Plot twist. Matt gives facts about actual cats.
Oh, good one.
This is what your listeners want.
That would be
Cat
You're
facts.
playing to the
Yeah.
listeners.
The problem
You must
is
do what the listeners say.
I will. We will do cat facts at some point. Yeah, we'll do that.
Congratulations, Josh.
Thank you.
Cat
Do you
facts.
have a graphic for cat facts?
I don't. I could probably whip one up
Yeah.
relatively quick.
Do you
bet you
have
could.
do you have a favorite cat? Josh Odson?
No.
Okay.
Why would I?
I was asking. I was
You
wondering.
struck me as an ocelot. guy.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do, yeah, the Siberian tiger. Great cat.
Remember when I told you don't have to have an opinion about everything?
Yeah.
like a tiger?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that
And
doesn't
then
count.
my second favorite cat would be John Scherna. You know, he was pretty awesome.
I think
Power
people were
forward,
talking
bang
about like
fun
kitty
things.
cats.
Like a small kitty cat. Like a tiny one? I don't even know. Like,
there's different kinds of those.
I don't know. And I know the skinless cats or hairless cats. Hairless.
They have skin.
Hairless. I got a question for you. Do you look at me and do I strike
Mr. Bigglesworth?
Do I strike you as a cat guy?
I don't know. Kind of. You have a you have a sort of motherly nature to you. Yeah.
Because I like to cook. That's all you got?
Well, you're always so comfortable. You're always so sweatery.
I have psoriasis.
You always have.
Are we back in the medicine cabinet?
No, I'm insecure about my skin.
That's not what I'm saying.
But you're talking more about your dress.
Yeah, it's just very comfortable.
The blazer yesterday, you got the sweater today.
Well, I wear long sleeves.
Yeah,
to cover up my skin.
I don't think it's that crazy.
You wouldn't be surprised if you came in wearing a shawl.
Yeah,
or a cardigan.
I love.
And so, like, if I walked into your apartment and
love a good cardigan,
you had there.
If you walk into my apartment,
there was just a little cat
immediately
that you didn't really pay attention to, but he just lived there. Like I wouldn't be surprised by that.
That's the thing. Like that's why I would do well with a cat, because I wouldn't have to give all of my attention to it. I would just have to make sure it eats and pees in the litter box.
That
and then
feels like a not so crazy picture.
And then we would probably have like 1 hour a day where we bro out, you know?
Yeah.
And then
you definitely strike me as 100% a dog person.
Yeah, I will. The problem, I would love to own a dog one day. It's just I'm not even responsible enough to take care of my like laundry, let alone a living thing. You know, it would not go well if I had a dog. I would feel that dog would have a low QOL.
You don't think that you would be able to do it, but you would. I promise.
I just don't think
Find parents everywhere.
Yes.
I just don't think I want that responsibility yet. I definitely do want to be a dog before a kid couple, though. You know,
you need the other part to be a couple.
No, I'm aware that I have to get a girlfriend before all of that happens.
To see if you can.
Well, you said
parent.
couple.
You know, I'm just saying. Eventually, when I go ahead and hopefully
go to the
acquire
store and pick one out.
Yeah. Trade for things to be named later.
You guys are going to get a dog together?
Yeah, I would want to get a dog before a child, for sure.
You got a whole plan, man. I like it.
I have a whole plan for my life.
You do?
My life up until 32.
How much do you have to adjust the plan as it's going?
Honestly, we've kind of been pretty steady.
Wow.
Since like
so far so good.
20. When I was like 20, I literally told somebody at the College of Journalism, I was like, the dream would be to work at 1620 right out of college.
Well,
I thought it would. I didn't think it would be I didn't think it would be this at all. But I would be like, that would be the goal to go ahead. Like I was like, that's
1620 the zone was when I was in college.
No, I think I wanted to. Oh man,
I was going to be a newspaper man.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to like.
Those were a thing
when I was in college. I just wanted to not be in college. That was my goal.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't love college. Well, where did you go to? I don't even know where you went to college.
The University of Nebraska.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
you were in JUCO for baseball.
Yeah, for a year.
I thought you went to a smaller school after that.
Yeah, before.
Okay.
Just for 1 year. Yeah.
Okay. I loved college. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah. I mean, the college,
awesome.
the college part of it was
a
fun.
lot of people that want waivers.
Yes.
I was just trying to figure out how
I was
to
ahead of my
not
time.
do it anymore. I didn't want to be in school anymore. I was like, this is stupid. Let's get out of this thing.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
Probably like
I have big plans for my life.
on like the third Wednesday of like being in a full-time job here in Omaha, I was like, damn it, like literally 8 months ago, I would be on the karaoke floor right now, like having an
We're going to a Nickelback concert.
Dude, yes. Like it was great. Is that the first time I ever met you in person was
No.
a Nickelback concert?
It would have been at the studio in Lincoln.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Probably just shook your hand and said, "Hi, I'm Matt. Nice to meet you."
You didn't sound like that, but yeah.
I had a
Probably
higher
right.
voice back then. I still have a higher voice now. That needs to happen. See, when I talk like this, that's fine. But when I get mad, I get real high pitched. And
That's
it doesn't.
normal.
I know, but it's too high. You know?
Have you ever thought he's
Never have once considered this. I feel like you're probably overthinking this.
You know me pretty well now. I overthink everything.
Yeah.
I overanalyze everything.
You beat yourself up, Matt. Like, we're just trying to get you to not do that. I think you're doing great, and I think your voice is totally.
I think I'm doing great too.
If you're beating yourself up in front of us.
Yeah.
I'm not beating myself. I'm not beating myself up. Other than the fact that I am annoyed. I get annoyed when my voice goes too high. I don't think that's beating myself up. That's just being annoyed at
Can't really change it, so.
Well, I mean, I've been crossing my fingers, man.
Unless you want to smoke some cigs, I guess you could start doing that.
You know what? I was
like Sean Penn. Have you guys seen Sean Penn lately?
Dude, he looked leathery. Like,
yeah, that's because he rips darts all day.
He was ripping a dart at the Golden Globes.
Correct.
He was weird looking in one battle after another.
He was.
It was like kind of hard for me to square that up as the Sean Penn that I had known for a long time.
He was definitely very weird looking at the end of one battle after another, but that was not natural. Yeah. He smokes like 1 million cigarettes a day.
He was smoking.
Yeah. He did like a whole side interview. He's like, I love smoking. You know, this is the best thing ever. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but this is great.
Okay.
Have you seen, there's this guy on Instagram that does the blind thing where you you taste 5 of the same type of thing and you have to guess
blind
what
taste
brand.
test.
Yeah, blind taste test. But it's like, 5 beers, which beer is what beer.
Blind cigarette smoke.
He does blind cigarette smoke.
He does?
He did it. I have to find the video.
Menthols.
No, he smoked it. He goes, now that's a cigarette. That's a Marlboro Red, and then
that is amazing. I have to see this video immediately.
I'll find it.
I
will find it and I will send it to you.
I would love to see
But he's
this.
like, nah, that's a cheap one. Camel was back in 1982.
Habbers or something that you
Chesterfield.
think that you could do like a blind taste of and have
Great question.
stunningly high accuracy on?
That's a great question. Not off the top of my head, which makes me feel like no would be my most appropriate answer to
I think
this.
it's difficult. I think there's certain things like,
Like I could maybe do like Sprite versus Starry versus
Sure.
7-Up, those ones.
lemon lime.
Just send it to me later. Just send it to me later. We're having a conversation here.
If I came in with 4 different types of fast food cheeseburgers, is that something you could do?
Ooh.
I could definitely do that.
I don't know. It would be more texture than taste, probably.
Oh, I disagree with that.
I definitely think it's a combination of those things.
That's what taste is.
Like I would be able to
taste.
if I picked up a McDonald's burger and then I picked up a
texture and taste.
Or sorry, that's what food is: texture and taste.
Yeah.
nice.
It's a
I don't
combination
know why
of
you
those
said it to
two.
me. You would say it to him.
I'm saying it to everybody. I'm just speaking into a microphone.
If I picked up a McDonald's burger and then I picked up a Burger King burger, I'd be able to tell just sheerly off of mass, right?
Good point. Well,
Maybe.
I don't know. I actually disagree with that
You think
because
the Burger King burgers are getting small?
what type of Burger King
I
burger
think
are
if
we
I
talking
brought you a
about?
generic cheeseburger from all of these places, you would not be able to tell.
That's the thing.
Probably, you're probably right. I wouldn't be able to do it.
But like
Now, were you feeling up the bun and figuring that out? I can't tell.
the mass.
I don't know what your senses that you bring from your fingertips are.
The mass is different because like if you get a singular like a regular Burger King cheeseburger, it actually is similar to a regular McDonald's cheeseburger. Now like the Whopper is very different.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
what I
know
mean.
that-
That's why you do the generic.
Yeah, the
like,
I
generic.
didn't know they had non-Whopper burgers.
Oh yeah. They have. You can get.
You could just go get a cheeseburger.
You can?
Yeah.
What's the difference
Is
between
this a
that and a
bit?
Whopper?
Well, it's a little bit. There's a little bit more cheese on the singular cheeseburger. It's got mustard, ketchup, pickle.
That's what a Whopper has?
No, a Whopper has lettuce and tomato and onion, and then you
It's
actually have
thicker
to,
patty.
and it's a thicker patty, and you have to ask for the cheese. You can
Oh,
you can
wow.
also get a Whopper Junior, which is the
Whopper
smaller
doesn't
version.
come with cheese?
No, you have to get a Whopper.
Surprising.
You have to specify Whopper.
Did not
with
know
cheese.
that.
It's 90. It's
I've
99.
never had a Whopper.
I have a Whopper once a week. Whopper Wednesdays. I live right next to a Burger King.
Your life is fascinating.
Burger King. Burger King is probably the fast food place I have the most.
That's crazy.
in
I haven't
my
had a
life.
Burger King
Yeah.
in a decade.
You can get a double bacon cheeseburger for $4.30.
2 times in all. Well, I guess we're in a new year. I've had it 0 times in 2026, and I would guarantee I had it less. Than 2 times.
Everybody raves about like the Coke over at the Coca-Cola over at McDonald's. The Diet Coke over at Burger King tastes different than regular Diet Cokes for sure, and it's an improved taste.
My kid wanted to go to Burger King this summer, and I almost left him at a fire station.
I think Burger King is actually a very underrated burger.
I have nothing against it,
very
like
much
Josh
do.
Still
clearly
under the
does.
age where you could just drop them off in a basket.
Yeah. He's
Like,
sick,
you're done.
sir. You can't do
You
that.
put a sign on them like it's a dog shaming thing, and it just says wanted BK.
Mike
Fantasy football loser punishment.
Mike goes, filling up the bun was actually another top 5 Big Master night.
Yeah.
Nice.
Probably top 15.
Nice.
The bacon double cheeseburgers where dude, at BK, have it your way. It's.
Oh, he loves that song. He walks around the house singing that
Dude,
song.
I do. Dan gets annoyed at it all the time. My roommate gets annoyed by it all the time.
Yeah, he's talking about his kid that he's about to leave at a fire station.
Whopper, junior, double bacon.
I like so what we're learning is your child and your child at work, Matt, are almost the same.
Yeah.
And do you want to leave them both at fire stations?
No, I love them both, but it's different.
I offered to babysit his child.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
I've heard this before.
You can take him to Burger King.
Dude, we'd have a great time together.
He wrestled my child.
You don't have to take your son to Burger King ever
parking lot.
again.
Yeah.
Matt in his broken car can take him to Burger King.
Yes, exactly. All 5 cylinders in my.
That actually
so
seems
many
like an
problems.
amazing parenting trick. You find, someone who likes something that you don't, that just your child likes it, you can take them. Great.
Make him do the stuff that you don't want to do.
This is your Burger King babysitter, Matt.
Right.
BK babysitter, baby.
You guys are going to have it your
what
way.
else do you not like doing with your son?
Oh, great
This
question,
is
Connor.
Gosh, he watches YouTube, and I hate every single one of those videos. I'm like, can't we watch a show with structure?
Does he watch
a
Minecraft?
plot?
What does
We
he
just need
watch?
Oh yeah, it's all people playing Minecraft.
Wow, Agent Canadian and Jerome ASF.
Okay, so
and
Matt
I don't
is
know.
actually your
This
guy.
is
Sky does
incredible.
Sky does Minecraft. Does he watch Captain Sparkles yet? Has he?
None of those names sound familiar.
Okay, I can get him on VicStar 123. We can have a nice little.
Preston.
Yeah, the incredibly good looking gamer, Preston.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Preston.
TBNR frags.
Matt, you're hired.
Yeah,
Congrats.
he's
I
got
don't
a
know
wife.
what is happening.
Yeah, Preston. So Preston was
Sometimes they
also
play
he was
games
he was a Call of Duty guy first, and then he became a Minecraft guy.
Okay.
He had a partner named Wolfles. Rob. It was Rob and Preston. Preston and Rob.
I don't know Rob.
They made their own IP servers. And
Did
like,
they
he would play.
divorce?
Probably they went their own way because
Okay.
Preston got pretty big. Wolfles is
Is
pretty
that
big,
happen
too.
a lot in the gamer community? They get
Oh,
too
yeah.
big and then they split off.
the
and there's
gamer-
like a divorce.
Dude, let me tell you, the gamer community is a cutthroat community. I mean, there are a lot of marriages, and I'm talking about not like, relationship, but like marriages amongst gamers and partnerships amongst gamers that end in terrible divorces and stuff like that. It always happens. And they all think that it's a great idea to make their own big team. They always want to like make a team together, but then they find out they're all egomaniacal nerd maniacs who play too much video games, and it always explodes.
Nice.
So
Why does this sound exactly like professional wrestling?
it is professional wrestling. And they
With
put
video games.
and they put on like they do like different games and like matches and whatnot, if you will, and they all have different gimmicks and they all have different bits.
Sounds
and
like
they
live golf.
No. Well, actually, it kind of did become live golf because then corporations started buying gamers and like signing them to exclusive deals
See?
and then exploiting them. But it actually became more of like the music industry than it did the sport industry at some point.
So the live golf thing makes me wonder, because I know you're a big fan. How do you feel about Koepka these days?
He's back on the PGA Tour. Is this what we've learned?
Yeah, he's back on the PGA Tour. He initially left for his family.
Yeah.
And then he left live. So is he just, he doesn't like his family anymore? Is that what I'm taking away
Does he
from
get
this?
the money? What happens
Great
with the
question.
money?
I thought that immediately. I go, does he still get his bag?
Yeah,
I don't know.
like, do you figure?
Didn't he get the bag right away?
Yeah, maybe the whole.
was it fully? See, I
I don't understand how the live bag
Is it
ever
possible that the family thing
Well-
was just a ruse in the first place? He did it for the money and then immediately quit and went back to the PGA Tour.
worked. Yeah,
with
is it
his money.
possible that he completely lied to everyone about the motivations
Yeah.
of doing it? Absolutely.
He's
Is
a
that the most
jerk.
likely? Absolutely.
But I think in a lot of ways he is a sort of likable jerk. I don't really. I know that's
I
an
don't know
oxymoron.
that I think he's a jerk. I just like,
well, so the reason why
just, if you're going to do it for the money, just say you're doing it for the money.
Yeah,
Well-
I always sort of liked him. I wish he was better at golf. I mean, he's,
Whoa,
he's-
whoa.
I think
he's-
he ruined his career
yeah,
with it.
he hasn't been very good
Whoa,
lately.
Whoa. Time out.
When's the last time he did anything in a major?
2 years ago. You won a
That's what I'm
major-
saying. That was before he joined Live.
Dude, you only get 8 shots at winning, or
The
you only
problem
get
is
4
he took
shots a
lot
year
more
winning
than
a
8
major.
shots
No,
than
wait.
most of these
Wait. You only get 4 shots a year winning a major. So to win one in the last 2 years is pretty impressive. Secondly, the guy has won 5 major championships. All right. To win 5 major championships is an incredible accomplishment that very few golfers have. He is one of the greatest golfers of a generation. Still, okay. In his run, winning the Whoa. Yeah, he won 5 majors.
Well, I just have to think about it.
He's
Hang on.
won 5
I just don't want to let you get away with
Let the
it.
man think.
Let me think about it. Brooks Koepka is one of the best golfers of this generation.
Without a doubt.
Plus 4,000 to win the
So, Matt,
Masters.
here's where I would push back. In 2025, he was cut from 3 of those 4.
Okay, no, but I'm
We're
saying
not even talking about winning. We're talking about being able to compete.
But in a grand, okay, winning and competing is the same thing. In the grand scale of what golf is not a year-to-year basis. Golf is a all-encompassing thing, and all-encompassing, and being all-encompassing, he's won very recently. Okay. Secondly, yeah, he is. He's won more majors than Rory. He's won more majors, or he's won as many majors as Rory now. He's won more majors than Spieth. He's won more majors than Rahm. He's won all these golfers that you could think of being great during the 2010s, good 2020s. That he's won more majors.
Where does the one of where does the how many is in the one of the best?
I would say like 4.
That's a pretty. I'm not summarily dismissing it. I just wanted to think about it for a second. I just didn't want to let you get away with it.
No,
that's all. I didn't think about it.
To win,
it's a high bar. I don't feel like he's. I off the face, I didn't feel like he was that.
To win 5 majors is a wild accomplishment. That is not many people have done that. Only like the greatest golfers that you can think of have accomplished that. And he's won his last major fairly recently. And it was a very inspirational story because on Full Swing, he was like, to Schaefer's point, he had a very bad string of golf. When Koepka's bad, Koepka's bad. That's what I'll tell you right now. There is no middle ground with Brooks Koepka. Yeah. Like when Rory wasn't winning winning majors, he still was pretty consistently like a top 5 golfer in the world.
Famously.
Koepka, like it's all or nothing, but his all is so much better than everybody else's not named Tiger Woods.
I'd rather have the consistent guy, but that's just me.
He also, had never been cut from 3 of the majors prior to this past year.
I know.
I think what we're saying
I can't believe
is
we're
that
debating this. This
the
is so
drop-off
weird.
has been substantial from where he was.
And probably getting back on the tour. And that was the one thing I think about Liv is that the guys were like, hey, we get to play less golf. But I actually do think that like playing golf and getting in more of a routine and playing it more consistently works out better for you. Like you get more consistent swings and stuff.
That's the whole point of the sport.
No, I know, but I think they were greedy and they fell away from that. And they were like, we want less states and more money. And I think they realized that in major competitions, like, well, that actually doesn't really work out, that we're just all of a sudden just going to turn it on and get into this routine that all these PGA golfers have been on. So I actually think it was interesting. Rahm and all the other guys were like, we're not leaving. So I guess Liv kind of survives because that would have been Armageddon if they were all like, all right, Koepka's leading the charge. We all want out too. But it'll be good for Brooks.
Not a lot of radio shows debating top 5 golfers on January 14th.
Certainly didn't think it'd be this one.
So good job
because I saw Brooks Koepka win his very first major at Erin Hills in Wisconsin.
I was there.
Oh, that's why I became a big fan of his. I love Koepka.
Happer is a big fan of his.
I know. Koepka stands for Koepka. Fist bump me.
I don't know. Stan means like I'm with him. I support him through everything.
Me too.
I do not.
Bump.
I most certainly do not.
Give me a bump.
I don't think I want to bump you.
Back.
I think I disagree with what you're saying.
Like we're Irvin in 85. Give me a bump.
All right. I'll bump you.
Thanks. Right. We're taking bumps here on the crossover. Is this Jim Crockett's promotion or a bathroom surrounded by a lot of 1980s Bulls players?
I think it's just a radio studio where people are debating Brooks Koepka for some reason.
I'm thinking about bumping myself off the show right now.
Yeah, I mean this is
the crossover. That's the crossover. That's it.
I think so.
Who's it powered by?
It's powered by. Well, I do want to realize now that
powered by bump.
I've never been the guy to like end the crossover, and now I realized yesterday when you ended the crossover, I was like, oh, that's my job to kind of end the crossover a little bit.
Oh, I ended it yesterday?
You were like, you started packing your things up and leaving.
Oh, yeah, I'll start doing that.
That's a tradition as old as
That's
time.
the crossover, which is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays with Matt is up next.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt live here on 1620 The Zone. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Hopefully one of us doesn't chop each other's legs off and you had the high ground! You're my brother! I loved you! I am the Senate. Hopefully that does not happen and it doesn't end in a terrible calamity. And it shouldn't, because we have quite the show for you to happen for you today. Jeez, I'm already having a stroke. What happened yesterday, Josh? Anything big happen in basketball? Anything occur?
Oh, a lot happened, Matt.
A lot did happen.
Reviews were made, calls were made.
Reviews were made. I almost got Joey.
I didn't think they were going to do it.
I didn't think they were going to do it either. And then,
like, okay, I'm looking at it.
Wait, first off,
okay,
I think Nick Baugh is awesome.
He's very unbiased on television.
Okay,
and I don't know how.
Very, and he is really, really good as a color commentator. That's not breaking news, by the way. Everybody knows that. But yesterday, I think it was the first time I got annoyed by something Nick Baugh said, because they're at the review, right? And they're looking, and man, like, it was crazy how close that play was to counting. I mean, it was literally like milliseconds away from Creighton losing a terrible game, which, by the way, they won that game and they still dropped in the net ranking. They went from 47 to 50. God knows where they would be if they ended up losing to the 137th ranked team in the net, according to the NCAA. But if you're like Nick goes, he goes, it's really close. And we got to remember what the call on the floor was. And I'm like, this is not football. We are not, this cannot be happening. This cannot be occurring. We were like, well, what was Gene? We got to remember what the call on the field was. It was a catch, inconclusive. I go, no, we have a timer. We have a clear sight of the ball. We know where the fingers are at. So it took about 7 minutes, which, by the way, I did not know this, but I guess they didn't say in the arena what the call on the floor was. John had to ask Coach Mack during the post-game show. He was like, what was the call on the floor? So he didn't even know. They didn't even know in the building whether or not it counted. And then apparently they were telling TV before they told the arena, which is...
Why are they telling television? Tell the crowd, damn it!
Okay, I didn't know that you had that ready to go.
I was like, okay, what happened? I watched it on TV last night, and I was sitting there watching it knowing, okay, John is freaking out right now. I don't know what he's saying, but I know he's freaking out. And I found this.
Why are they telling television? Tell the crowd, damn it!
It's so funny. That is so good. And he's not wrong. You do have to tell the crowd, and they didn't even know on the floor. So that was a crazy game. We will talk to John Walker all about it. He will be on at 11 o'clock. He is the only person a part of today's lineup, which is powered by the rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. So we will talk about the Creighton Blue Jays' improbable comeback, down 7 with 1:34 left to go. They end up defeating Georgetown in overtime. It already was an 8 o'clock tip, which we should ban from America.
Oh,
8 o'clock tips are terrible.
I still don't know what the call on the floor is.
So we will talk all about that with John Walker. A very big win. Austin Swartz, stand up, man. What a hell of a player. Also, do you know that basketball was happening in Lincoln yesterday as well?
I did, because I watched on television, so I was able to matriculate across the dial and get both games at the same time.
I will say this, the art of watching 2 basketball games at once, I'm very good at it.
Oh, really?
I'm very good at it.
I was thankful that one of them I didn't really need to watch. I just had to follow along on the scoreboard.
Here's my thing. It was tough for me because I was like, these are 2 games. Number one, are very important for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, Nebraska should not have matched up well on the boards against Oregon. That kind of freaked me out. And I don't want to, like, it'd be a bad take for me now to call a 35-point victory a trap game, right? But like, after going 16-0 and seemingly going through the hardest legs, right, of the Big Ten schedule to start, and then now things kind of taper off a little bit. Like, Oregon was not good heading into yesterday's game. Northwestern is not a very good team. you're going to play Washington. They're not having the best year either. Like it's one of those things where, okay, the schedule kind of eases up a little bit. And so you're thinking, oh, I hope they don't let off the gas. Right. And then you look at Creighton and you're like, okay, they need to, they cannot afford to lose a quad 3 game. So you have to watch both games at the same time. I'll tell you the secret.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is good.
No volume
on either.
You go 0 volume on either.
Were you just sitting there in silence?
In silence. And I was just letting my eyes dart back and forth across the possessions.
Okay, no distraction.
0.
With the volume.
Yes.
Okay.
And because I feel like when the volume is on, you get locked into one game.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand.
So I went no volume, and I just went back and forth, made my observations, boom, 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 all good. And then when that game got out of hand and the doubt, the result wasn't in doubt, then the volume went on to Peacock. So that's how that occurred. So that's the secret. We'll talk all about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I do have a gripe with a sports saying. This has become very popular, Josh. Belt to ass. Have you seen this a lot over your...
In the last 3 weeks, Michael Irvin has destroyed the phrase belts to ass. And it now has no meaning whenever you say it.
So belt to ass.
B2A.
Yeah, so that sucks. So belt to ass used to be like a niche kind of sports. Like a little, you didn't hear it a whole lot. It wasn't that popular. But when you said it, people would be like, hey, yeah, cool, damn right. That's a good one. I don't hear that a lot.
Yeah.
It went from that to being overused and way too popular.
Beat you by 7, B2A.
Exactly. That's I feel like Timothy Chalamet is slowly becoming the new belt to ass, where it's it used
to. All right, calm down, buddy.
Yeah. It used to be hey, dude, man, we bought a zoo and Little Women and all these cool movies. But now it's a little too much. Belt to ass used to be that. Here's my problem with the saying. If you beat a team by 2, or you have to go to overtime to beat a team, or it's a very close game, that's not belt to ass.
No belt for Creighton last night.
No. If you barely win a game, but everyone's using it for every win. What Nebraska did yesterday to Oregon, which was you're up 30 and you still have your redshirt freshman chucking up threes and scoring as many points as possible, and the entire arena is just having fun at the Pinnacle Bank AAU Invitational. Okay? If that's belt to ass. What happened at Pinnacle Bank Arena, that is BTA. We will talk a lot about that. We actually have some pretty big developing news that will happen at some point today. I'm unsure if it's occurred yet. I will look during the break.
Oh, break a story. Break a story.
But I don't think enough people are aware of this. So Dante Moore, today is the deadline for players that are in the college football playoff. So it's the deadline for Indiana and Miami underclassmen to go ahead and declare for the NFL draft. That includes Dante Moore. So Dante Moore today will have to declare if he's going to the NFL or if he's staying at Oregon. I saw that tweet today from Albert Breer. That is a massive domino. Okay, what Dante Moore decides to do for next season is going to decide a lot of things, not only in college football, but in the NFL as well. We'll talk all about that as well. Great night of college basketball yesterday. Big win for Kansas. They defeat number 2 Iowa State at home. John Blackwell, what a bad man. Man, the Barn and Nico Medved in Minnesota, they've had some really entertaining games there in Minneapolis. It's become an awesome atmosphere. We'll talk about that. The Huskers are going to have to go there eventually. That'll be a tough game. It'll be a very tough game. I don't think it's a trap game because Minnesota's actually playing pretty good basketball right now, and it's already proven to be a tough place to play. They beat Iowa at the Barn, and Iowa has a big game tonight against Purdue. So we'll talk all about college football. Marcus Freeman is reportedly going to stay put at ND. We're going to talk.
Congrats, Kenneth.
Congrats. He ain't going anywhere. Which, but I mean, all these people, I don't know, these people, quote unquote, in the know for the last 2.5 months, all they were doing was talking about how, you got to look out for Dante Moore, and you got to be aware of Dante Moore, or not Dante Moore. You got to be aware of Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman might be on the move. I never bought it. Being at Notre Dame is an awesome job. Okay, there are a lot of benefits to being an ND, especially in this era of college football. We're also just going to talk about, I don't know if enough people are talking about the fact that if you go to college without any previous pro experience, the chances are you're going to fail. And
Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, Nick Saban. We'll do a brief history of just why going to the NFL straight from college may not be the best decision for some coaches. And we're going to 24, I guess. Maybe that's what the Big Ten wants in college football. We'll have a meeting on Sunday in Miami between the power brokers of college football, which include all of the conference presidents plus Notre Dame's president. So they will have a meeting that, if people forget, what was supposed to be decided for the future of the college football playoff for next season was supposed to happen on December 1st. Okay. That extension, there was an extension signed in November that pushed it all the way to January 23rd. January 23rd is 9 days away. Reportedly, we're not even close to having a college football playoff solution. That's concerning. I'll tell you what might happen, why it's exhausting, why I hated reading that CBS article, and why I was wrong. And then on top of that, Pittsburgh Steelers looking for a new head coach. Breaking yesterday, Mike Tomlin stepped down, which was interesting. I think a lot of people thought he would just get fired straight up, but it reportedly was Tomlin who, within his own power, decided no longer to be the head coach of Pittsburgh. The initial reports are that he's going to sit out a year. I don't blame him. I mean, it seems like the last couple of years, there's always like a weird firing that actually ends up being a pretty good job. And a head coach can kind of just slide in there. Hell, that's probably going to happen with Pittsburgh. We'll talk about what the Steelers are looking at, what might happen with Tomlin, and how the Pittsburgh Steelers weirdly remind me of a college football team's previous playoff search a couple months ago where they fell ass backwards into a really great coach. Will that happen with Pittsburgh? That's all coming up here on Middays with Matt. Loaded show. I'm sure that we're not going to get to all of that and that there might be things that we run into during the day that end up breaking, but that is the core of what we'll be talking about. Coming up next, we're going to just be talking about, college basketball on Tuesdays has been killing it. Yesterday was another killer Tuesday, but don't sleep on tonight's slate. Some really great games to pay attention to. John Walker will come up at 11 o'clock. We'll talk all about Creighton. We're also going to have the odd news with Josh Odson at 12:30. Loaded episode 3. It's almost like we're going to begin this with a great space chase. And then we're going to follow it up by a bunch of boring political talk.
Whoa.
Followed up by
an
awesome, awesome ending fourth act here on episode 3 of Middays with Matt.
Back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, don't forget to tweet at us at the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Matt McMedia, along with calling us on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline, 402-951-1620. 402-951-1620, the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Love to talk to you and take your calls. Also, the Equitable Bank inbox at Matt at 1620thezone.com, Josh O at 1620thezone.com. Equitable Bank. They take banking personally, and they pick up on the first ring. Old man Doug. Tweet from Go Spurs Go on Twitter. Good call at Matt McMedia. Trying to watch NU, UConn, and the Spurs all on TV and all at the same time. Talk about a heart attack. Telling you, there are some things where I'm just good at it. I'm just skilled at it. Being locked in on a quad box. Like, I feel like some people just lock in on one quad or they lock in on one TV. I feel like I'm awesome at just darting around the TV. Big win for UConn yesterday. They go ahead and they beat ranked Seton Hall. It was a good game. They fended off Seton Hall at the end of that one. So UConn very, very much has established themselves as not only just one of the best teams in the country, but by far the best team in the Big East. They'll take on Creighton, and I believe 2 weeks it is, right? Is it February? When is that game?
It's coming up.
It is coming up.
You're close.
I think it's February 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, why is the internet so difficult?
I know.
31st.
All right, 31st of January. Yeah, that's the pink out game. That's what right. I thought. So that'll be a big game for Creighton. Like I said yesterday, there are not too many opportunities for quad one wins in the Big East. Unfortunately, I mean, there are not too many opportunities for quad one wins in Big East play compared to other conferences in the country. That will for sure be one. One thing I did forget to mention in the tease, Mike Ekeler
What's up with that guy?
Okay, so I saw that on Twitter, and it was the USC 24/7 site, and it was a very USC needs a coordinator, and they're looking across the country, and Mike Ekeler is a name that kept popping up. And I didn't make anything of it. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm looking for, Gal Gadot to be my wife. I'm looking at all the options too. And then yesterday I was listening to the morning show, and Mike Schaefer, who is very, very much still tuned in to a lot of that stuff, said, no, because Connor Happer was much like me. I saw it. I didn't read a whole lot into it. Then Schaefer was very much on the up and up to be like, no, I'm kind of hearing it across the board. Like these are things that I've talked to people, and there is a world where Mike Ekeler ends up going to USC. And so we didn't talk about it yesterday because, they hit on that point already. That was there. Put him over there. They said that. Yesterday, though, there became another report of no, this is this. Now USC apparently is looking at, Eckler's contract at Nebraska. And there's even talk about maybe him coaching linebackers at USC. We will talk about that at some point in the show, because if Nebraska were to lose Mike Ekeler, that would be really, really, really bad. We'll probably talk about that around the 12 o'clock hour before we head into odd news. College basketball tonight. I mean, look, we're getting to the point where I said this yesterday, you're becoming less reliant on football for your need to fill your needs when it comes to sports. We only have 8 teams left that have a season in the NFL. We only have 2 teams left that have a season in college football. We are out of the peak of having what do we have, 27 days in a row of straight football. It was great. We are now officially out of that. And you're trying to find your fill in terms of sports. College basketball is there for you, man. Another banger of a lineup tonight. I was going to go on the road to Mackey Arena. They're going to take on Purdue. Ben McCollum going from Missouri State to Drake, then to Iowa, bringing a lot of guys with him. Bennett Sturt's one of the best players in the country, along with him. Iowa, they've still lost 4 games this year. One of those games, against Minnesota at the Barn. But they have a great opportunity tonight to take on 15-1 Purdue, who's only slipped up once this season. Still, I think they're the ranked 3rd in the country so far. So Purdue 9.5-point favorite. By the way, dog of the day, winner. LA Lakers defeated the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. So 1-1 on Dogs with the Day. We're not going to talk about the NBA. Did you see though that Giannis Antetokounmpo was booing his own home crowd yesterday, Josh Hodson?
I did not see that specifically, but it's been weird between him and the Bucks.
It has been wildly weird in terms of Giannis hates being on a loser, and that's exactly what the Milwaukee Bucks have turned into somehow. They've somehow botched having one of the best players of a generation. And yes,
I thought they would have flipped them for something in the offseason.
Well, I just still don't understand. I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall that, hey, this team was getting old a couple of years ago when he signed his extension. And it was a very will he, won't he. There was a tense moment for a second of whether or not he was going to sign that big extension. He ended up doing it. And even though the writing was a little bit on the wall of like, hey, Chris Middleton is getting old and Drew Holiday is getting old, and it's not like you've drafted all these young players that can come up with you, he still signed that contract. Milwaukee Bucks are out of the play-in right now. They're 17-23. They suffered a big loss yesterday, and while they were losing, the Milwaukee Bucks faithful at the Pfizer Forum were booing Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks when they were getting drubbed by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Giannis goes ahead, gets an and one, and then started booing, thumbs down booing his own crowd. Something to keep note because Trae Young got traded. Seems like John Morant is going to get traded, and Giannis Antetokounmpo could be the blockbuster trade that the NBA hasn't. The NBA has had like stars that you're aware of, like Jimmy Butler's been traded, Karl Anthony Towns for that was a big one. They've still had top players get traded. Giannis Antetokounmpo get traded with Trump, all of that. So that's just something to monitor. Going back to college basketball, though. Have a really good game here. UNC at Stanford. Stanford, a 2.5-point underdog in that one. UNC ranked 14th in the country. Keep a name on this one. Abuka Okori. It's a 6'2 freshman for the Tar Heels. He's averaging 22 points this season, 3.7 rebounds, 2.9 assists. He's a guy that's got a tremendous amount of talent. If you're watching games tonight, keep your eye on that game. And then probably the most interesting game, or one of the more interesting games tonight, Vanderbilt on the road to take on the Texas Longhorns. Vandy is a lot like Nebraska. Vanderbilt heading into this season, they were preseason ranked 11th in the SEC, 16-0. I saw them play once against Alabama, and I think they were 14-0 at the time when they beat Bama. And Bama is with Nate Oates is very much an established team in college basketball, an established program. And you were kind of waiting for the shoe to drop watching that Vanderbilt game. You were waiting for Alabama to make a big run. You were waiting for them to take control of the game. You were waiting for Vanderbilt to stop making shots, and they didn't. They are just a completely sound, together team playing at a very high level that has shocked the SEC in terms of how they've come out and performed to begin the year, and everyone kind of in the SEC has been waiting for them to drop a game against the top team or, fall flat on their face or, go back to playing maybe the basketball they anticipated that they played, much like a lot of people in the Big Ten are anticipating that or were anticipating that to happen to Nebraska. Hasn't happened yet. They're 16-0, but Texas, 5.5-point dog at home. That should be a good game tonight. Great slate yesterday. If you haven't already gone back and seen what John Blackwell did for Wisconsin, it was a three-pointer to tie the game. Tyson from Minnesota hit that at the barn. The barn goes wild. And John Blackwell, one of the best guards in the Big Ten, goes ahead, hits a three right in everybody's face. All-time celebration, too. Literally did a full sprint, did a full lap around the court at the barn, being chased by his entire team as they go ahead and win that game. Another thing, too, Virginia ranked this year. I think they're 16th. They defeated number 20 Louisville on the road yesterday. Louisville's down one of their best players, Mikal Brown Jr. They don't know when he's going to come back. They need him back ASAP. Louisville faltering without, the engine of their basketball team. So that's your college basketball update, I guess. We are going to get an inside update on what the hell happened yesterday at the Chai. My God. The Creighton Blue Jays snatch victory from the jaws of defeat due to the Georgetown Hoyas, what Seton Hall did to them. I mean, Creighton seemed like they had that game won against Seton Hall. Seton Hall stole that victory from them. Georgetown seemed like that they had that game won against Creighton on the road, and Creighton stole that game from them. A game they desperately needed. We've talked about it. Your Q1 opportunities of the Big East compared to other conferences are a little bit lower. But with how this Creighton basketball team performed against Power 5 teams in the non-con, they could not afford to lose to a Q3 team in Georgetown. They did not. Down 7, minute 34. Austin Swartz and the boys go ahead and defeat the Hoyas. John Walker from the Omaha World Herald will be on Middays with Matt next to talk all about Creighton basketball's big win here on 1620 The Zone.
Why are they telling television? Tell the crowd, damn it!
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Alrighty. Trying to look through Twitter. I'm on needles here, waiting for some things to pop on Twitter. It's like one of those news days where you're like, oh my God, here, I'm waiting for this thing to happen. And then about an Oregon quarterback. And then I found out an Oregon player is declaring to the NFL draft, but it's not the Oregon player that I'm waiting for to declare.
Dylan Raiola.
No, it's their linebacker or their safety who's actually pretty good. He's top 50. So, that's news. But I'm waiting for Dante Moore. What is he going to do? By the way, shout out to our YouTube chat. They're on fire. Don't worry. We will go ahead and read. Some of these comments have been really funny. But before I read your comments and talk about the hilarity that's going on there, I got to talk about the hilarity that went on yesterday.
That's not funny. This is this man's job.
Well, he
was up against deadline.
You were up against deadline. We bring in John Walker for the Omaha World Herald. John, Whiskey, Walker, what the hell happened yesterday, man?
Yeah, I fully did not expect that. I talked to John and Josh yesterday, like on air before the game, and I said that, Creighton was entering the game favored by like 8.5, 9.5, and the Jays absolutely should have handled Georgetown, a team that is talented for sure, that is better than its record would suggest. But the fact of the matter is a team that is just not won games, and you have to win games to be good. You know what I mean? So we fully expected Creighton to win that game. I don't think anyone expected Creighton to have to win the game like that.
Sure.
And I didn't expect to cover an overtime game on deadline, but that's such a more common occurrence with me than people would think. So late tip, I'm on tight deadline. Expect something crazy.
Did you make it?
So I did not make the initial deadline. It was 10-10. Obviously, they were in overtime.
Yeah, they were still playing.
Point. But thankfully, our desk was clutch. Nebraska played late last night as well.
Yes,
so they were putting a bow on all of Wilson's coverage while the Jays were still wrapping up.
Yeah,
and so they held the page. So we got something in print, I believe.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and man, there's so much to unpack about this game. Let me ask you, there's a lot, because there's so many, if you've been following this game, and I've been lucky enough to do Blue Jay overtime this year, right, and have to watch all of these games. So there's so many, there's the game itself, and then there's the embedded storylines that come throughout an entire season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's first off talk about this. They're down 7, 134 left to go. And I was already kind of planning what I was going to say on the radio, which is, man, they were tied 67-67 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. And my immediate thought was, all right, who's the alpha? Who is going to be the guy that's going to take this ball and go to the basket and score and lead Creighton to a victory? And my takeaway was going to be, well, they don't really have that guy, because they had that opportunity against Georgetown and they blew it. But yet they still come back and they win this game. I mean, how much of a journey has this team taken from November? Does this team in November, do they even sniff winning a game like this?
No, God, no. They certainly don't. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Creighton does not win that game without Austin Swartz.
Yeah.
And Austin Swartz was playing 15 minutes a game in November. So, no. Certainly, if you were talking about who's going to be the alpha, I mean, that's who it was. It was one.
Yeah.
And so, he couldn't miss. He just made every single play necessary when Creighton absolutely had to have it. Down 10 late in the first half, he sparked a 12-0 run to go into the locker room. Austin Swartz said post-game, that was huge, because he said you could have made the argument that Creighton did not play well enough in the first half to deserve to lead at halftime.
Yeah.
And so they were very well aware of that. So Austin Swartz sparked that run. Then down 7 with 2 minutes to play, eventually he hits the tying 3 somehow, some way. And then in overtime, he steals the opening tip, lays it in through contact, and won. Huge play to start overtime.
Yeah.
And then he scored 7 of Creighton's 10 in the extra frame. So that's the alpha at the moment. And Josh Dix is obviously one of the best players on the team, maybe the best player on the team, given his two-way ability, right? That's what's affecting some of his scoring numbers, is that Creighton has so badly, so desperately needed him to be the perimeter defender that he has been. But like in those moments, Austin Swartz had the ball in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was solely because he was having such a good standalone game last night. I think it's because that guy has shown if you give him the ball, good things are going to happen. And they certainly did against Georgetown. So a long meandering way to say, Matt, because that guy has emerged in the way he has since early December, no, Creighton does not win that kind of game if that game happens in November.
Let's talk about this from, and it's funny you talk about Swartz. Like, they had to take him out in that toward the end of the game. They literally had to take him out because they needed to get stops in defensive end. They go ahead and they put him in, and he makes that shot at the very end of the game. Are the basketball gods, are we kind of even now? Like after the Seton Hall loss, are we even now after this Georgetown win?
Yeah, and that kind of got. I was up until like 3 a.m. I didn't leave CHI until 1, and then like, how could you possibly go to sleep immediately after something like that? So, and I was kind of paving the way on another story that I just filed right before I hopped on here. So I'll have that out hopefully in the next hour or so. Anyway,
mm-hmm.
When I was up late last night, that came across my mind. I was like, wait, like nobody even mentioned, and myself included, like nobody even mentioned the fact that they lose on a very, very, very similar play at Seton Hall.
Sure.
They force a miss on the last possession, a tip-in, offensive rebound, and a tip-in. Boom. And that game was just so crazy last night that what had happened, I don't know, 9 days earlier at Seton Hall was just an afterthought. But, you start to let the dust settle a little bit, and it's like, yeah, okay, like that evens out, I suppose. Like they could have badly used the win at Seton Hall, sure, but they could not afford a home loss to Georgetown. And so it's funny how all of that comes back around because you kind of rip defeat from the jaws of victory at the last second of Seton Hall, and then last night the Jays ripped victory from the jaws of defeat against Georgetown.
We got to get to the negative now because it was a hell of a win. Okay. It was a culture win. It's a win that I think has stemmed directly from what occurred against Kansas State. And I think that this run that they've gone on, being 5-2 in the Big East and now being 11-7 on the season has stemmed from a lot of the decisions that Coach Mack and his staff has made, dating back to the Kansas State game.
I think so.
But let's talk about what happened yesterday because Georgetown shot 57% from the floor. They shot 61% from 2. They out-rebounded Creighton 32-24. They had, you might have to correct me here, I'm sure you had this in your stats, they had 8 offensive rebounds and 17 second chance points. Georgetown did a lot right. And Creighton, I think the one thing that kept them in is, number one, Austin Swartz, obviously, with his 33 points. But they made shots, 52% from the field. But still, there was a lot of the same problems that we saw when this team was losing games. I have to ask you about the interior defense specifically, and this is a loaded question here. So I'm gonna kind of give you a couple of different parts, and you can take it where you want. All right. So one, Owen Freeman only 6 minutes. Is it safe to say we're kind of done with that? What did you think about the Kiram Conan minutes? And then also too, when we have somebody in the chat wondering, was Hudson Greer, was he not in the plan? What was with him having 0 minutes yesterday in a game where they needed more physicality? You can take it wherever you want from there, John Walker.
I'll start from the back,
okay,
and then kind of work back.
Perfect.
Or start at the end and then kind of work back.
Perfect.
I'm entirely unsure on the Hudson Greer situation. What I do know is that Greg McDermott has said we have to get Hudson back in game shape. I don't know if that means he already is in game shape or like, you don't know how having really a month off almost with the foot injury. You don't know how that affects a guy's game conditioning. And so maybe that's it. But again, that is like, I'm entirely unsure and transparently forgot to ask last night post game.
Yeah,
so hand up, that's on me. In any case, with the front court situation, Jacob Padilla asked in the post game last night, like, why was Karam the first one off the bench and not Owen? And Matt had mentioned that like Karam has just gradually settled in and understood what Creighton is asking of him. And kind of the overlooked part of this is that there is a drastic language barrier. Greg McDermott joked after the game that Creighton or Karam Conan's English is a lot better than Creighton's Turkish. Somehow, some way they've come to an understanding on a lot of things. And sometimes that's not always verbal, right? Like Max mentioned, last year with Ryan Kalkbrenner, if you need to make an adjustment on the fly, you yell it from the bench. You can't do that with Karam Conan because he doesn't understand clearly.
Sure.
And so, that's just an overlooked part in all of this. Like last night was the first time that we've talked to Karam in a post-game press conference. And I'm not knocking the guy at all. It's just like the fact of the matter that there's a language barrier, right?
Yeah.
And like Greg McDermott was helping translate for Karam in the post-game presser. So like they're working through that. And so just naturally, newcomers take a hot minute to settle in at Creighton, and then you throw the language barrier on top of that.
Great
and
point,
the fact
John.
that Karam didn't even come over here until August, like, of course it was going to take the guy time. And I think now, late in the St. John's game, obviously last night in Jason Green's brief absence, with foul trouble and the shoulder injury and what have you, like, Karam Conan was excellent for what Creighton needed him to be. And so maybe that's the start of something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the more concerning thing, of course, guys, the more concerning thing is that Owen Freeman, who was thought to be, at worst, Creighton's second best portal addition this offseason, the hand-picked successor to Ryan Kalkbrenner, that guy is playing like 8 minutes a game in Big East play. And you just cannot have that.
No.
And so here's the best way I can put it. Everything that's gone wrong with Creighton this year, is it directly because of Owen Freeman? No, it is not. But has Owen Freeman lived up to the expectations that we all had of him, that Creighton had of him, that he had of himself entering this season? No, he has not. So that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. It's something that I don't know, John. It's one of those things where I think we were trying to give him the benefit of the doubt when we all saw him play against South Dakota, North Dakota earlier in the year. And, we had to be very well aware of, the guy didn't have an offseason. He did not have an offseason. That's tough, especially when you're coming in, you're trying to learn a new system. But we were told over and over again, hey, wait till January. January has now come. He is nowhere to be found. Before we let you go here, and not quickly, we got plenty of time, but I think that we've kind of hit all the bases, right? I mean, great comeback. Austin Swartz, hell of a performance. Karam Conan was plus 11 yesterday. Also, shout out Blake Harper. He was plus 18. Both those guys
plus
coming
18,
off the bench.
Yeah, Blake Harper has been so big for this team.
He has been.
He's been so big for them off the bench. Like the Villanova game. Villanova literally, actually could not stop him.
No.
And like, that's kind of the guy that we saw at the Players Era Festival a little bit. That Oregon game, comes to mind where he just relentlessly and at will got to the basket. And he did that against Villanova, and he didn't necessarily do that in the Georgetown win, but man, he affected the game defensively.
Oh, sure. And that's the thing too, right? Like, that was the knock on him. Defense. I mean, he's even said it himself that Mac has gotten on him about his defense, and that, he even said yesterday in his post game that they don't always see eye to eye, which is a funny thing to say about, the relationship with your head coach, but he comes by it honestly, right? They were putting him, in big defensive moments yesterday, and he stepped up big. But before I let you go, a big reason why Georgetown, found a lot of success in the paint was because Jason Green only played 21 minutes yesterday. He got 2 very quick fouls. But it seems like, and look, we've seen this big shoulder brace that he's had on now for a couple of weeks. And the more that the coaches talk about Jason Green's shoulder injury, it doesn't sound like it's getting any better. It doesn't sound like he's coming out of that brace anytime soon. Any updates you have on that injury and just how what I would say the most important player on Creighton's team overall is feeling right now?
Yeah, not good. Obviously, you can't possibly be feeling good. Like, that shoulder he's worn the shoulder brace since the Kansas State game on December 13th. That was the first game that he wore it for. He wears it in practices. Like, it is a very real thing. So I can't imagine that he possibly feels good. Here's what I do know, and I'm speaking from experience here. I tore my labrum in my left shoulder.
Same.
In high school. And so, that's forever ago, sure. But like, when you tear it, like, it's kind of something that each person decides. And I don't even know if that's what it is, right?
Sure.
I'm assuming based on the brace, that's what it is. Like, the Soli brace is meant to, in some ways, immobilize the shoulder to prevent further damage to the ligaments and muscles.
Yes.
And so, and Max said after the game, like, at times it's hard for Jason to, like, get his hands up. So, obviously, very clearly, like, something. So this is not just like, oh, hey, it hurts, right? Like,
no,
that
God,
is
no.
very clear.
God, no.
And so like, it gets tweaked in the Villanova game.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
And then it's a tough stretch. Like, Tuesday was the Jays' 4th game in 9 days. That does not help somebody who is playing through a nagging shoulder injury. And then, he picked up the 2 fouls early.
Yeah.
And Creighton was able to help him avoid that in the St. John's game, though it didn't really matter ultimately. But like, Georgetown went right at him and put him in bad positions, and got him in foul trouble early. And so he sat most of the first half on the bench, but like, then he came back and he was so important, as he's been all year, down the stretch, like down 5 late. He had the deflection. Him and Josh Dix trapped KJ Lewis at the top of the key. Somehow, Jason flings his arms up high enough, including the left shoulder, like flings that up high enough to deflect his pass, and then flings it forward for Josh Dix transition dunk. And that set up Austin Swartz tying 3. And Jason Green had the one, the little flip up floater that bounced off the back of the iron twice and fell through the net in overtime. So just like, Jason Green was so huge.
He was. And
so important. And I think the past couple of games, while it's nice that Karam is coming on, and while it's nice that Owen, I thought Owen was solid in his 7 minutes last night. Like, I really did. Maybe
he had that big and one.
But like, who the hell played defense in that game?
No
what I mean? So like, I'm not going to knock a guy for not playing defense in what was a high-scoring slugfest. Yeah. That's an issue that needs to get taken care of collectively for the Jays on its own time. But like, in a vacuum, it's nice that Karam is coming on, and it's nice that Owen is solid in his limited minutes. But like, Jason Green is like the heart and soul of this basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've seen when he's not on the floor how different Creighton can look. Go look at the first half of the Villanova game when he agitated or aggravated the shoulder, and go look at what Georgetown was able to do in the paint last night with one, him still dealing with the shoulder injury, and two, Jason Green in foul trouble. Like the Hoyas had 50 paint points. 50. They scored 50 in the paint.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Yeah, so long meandering way to say Jason Green is crucial for this team. I cannot imagine that his shoulder is feeling good, but man, he is playing through it, and Creighton needs him to.
John Walker, you're one of the best. Good luck or good job on making deadline. Hell of a job. It was a hell of a game to cover. You always do a great job in that regard. So we appreciate you coming on the show, and look forward to having you on every Wednesday here on Middays with Matt, my man.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Walker. John Walker, the Omaha World Herald. I'll say this. So I've also torn my labrum in my left shoulder. I have worn some like a brace like that. I'll tell you this. So against Villanova, when he hurt his shoulder, I was worried. I was like, look, if he separated it, it's done. If he dislocated it, damn. But you get these weird stingers with those injuries where it hurts like a son of a gun, and sometimes it even feels like the shoulder pops out a little bit, like it gets loose. But then you kind of just have to just wait, and it wears away. And those stingers only get worse, and they only get more painful, and they only last longer. But it's something that you can deal with. Man, he's playing his heart out right now, and you can tell with just. I mean, at one point yesterday, Coach Mack was like, he's playing with one arm. It's insane what Jason Green is doing, yet he's being a top contributor on both ends for the Creighton Blue Jays, and frankly, it's something that this team needs. He is just so important on both sides of the ball, on the interior, on defense. Said it multiple times. The guy plays like he's 4 inches taller and 25 pounds heavier than what he actually is. And even on offense, I think he's their most effective screener as well, and getting guys off of ball handlers. And so just a warrior that guy is. It's not fun with what he's dealing with, and he just keeps fighting and fighting and fighting. Have nothing but respect and admiration for what number 0 is doing for the Creighton Blue Jays. And I know he's earning that respect from his teammates and his fans as well. All right, we move from one basketball team in Nebraska who picked up a win to another Nebraska team that picked up a win yesterday. We'll talk about the Huskers coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Did you see this on Twitter? Euphoria Season 3. Some things have been revealed about what the season is going to be about.
I saw a headline that a new trailer had dropped with the release date and all that.
Are you a Euphoria man?
I have been told that I cannot watch the show. It will break me.
I don't. Why will it break you?
I've been told I would not be able to handle the subject matter.
I think the subject matter is just weird things that happen in a crazy ass high school. It's kind of what I've been able to take away from it.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of drugs.
A lot of drugs, a lot of sex.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Took the words right out of my mouth. And a lot of Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney.
One is a good actress. One looks good in movies and TV projects.
So here's why I bring this up, because this is just, to me, it's just so cheap. Because
I know what
it's so cheap, because it's like, sometimes I question, when you sat down and when you wrote like a movie series or you wrote a TV series, did you write all 5 seasons at once, or are you going one at a time? And I would prefer, I think what killed the Star Wars sequels is they decided to play past the popcorn.
Yeah.
And
Great
not
take.
actually sit down and say, no, here are the 3 movies, here are how they're going to progress, and here's how they're going to end. All this to say, it's clear to me that Euphoria is writing season by season, because Sydney Sweeney's character in season 3 of Euphoria, Cassie is her name, she's going to be an OnlyFans model.
Hey, look, we got Sydney Sweeney. She's willing to come back. We want her naked. Everybody wants to see her naked, but she'll only do it if it makes sense in the plot, because she's become a bigger star than the last time we had her for whatever the last season was.
Yes.
So we got to write it in and have it happen organically.
Yes.
How can we do that? OnlyFans model.
It's ridiculous.
Also saves us money on wardrobe, right, guys?
And now there's going to be a bunch of, guys my age and even middle-aged men who are going to watch the first seasons of Euphoria to find out how does it fit into the plot that Sydney Sweeney is now going to be an adult actress, if you want to call the people, or an adult model. So immediate eye roll from me. But, if you got to do what you got to do to make money, that's going to make a lot of money. So that's funny.
So, sounds like this is the last season.
They've kind of, hasn't everyone on that show kind of now outkicked their coverage in terms of importance? Like Sydney Sweeney is an actual star now. Zendaya, when she first started that show, was still the girl from Shake It Up on Disney. That's how she got her start. I watched that show growing up, funny enough. Now she is like in awesome movies. And I was about to say they're both good actresses. They're not both good actresses. One of them is a great actress. One of them is just there. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. Also, too, funny enough, reading the replies of some of the tweets, somebody writes in. Somebody, no, not to the OnlyFans model of Sydney Sweeney, but to Husker Ed goes, watching Harrison Barnes chuck wide open bricks, then looking over to Sanford hitting bombs with 2 guys in his face was quite the experience. Big win for Oklahoma City yesterday. They finally get the San Antonio Spur monkey off their back, 119 to 98. Oklahoma City, they didn't have Jalen Williams to begin the season, and they're better without Jalen Williams better with Jalen Williams than they are without Jalen Williams. But it's still clear that on a little bit of this skid, they're trying to figure out how to get him back in the fold. Big win for them yesterday. And other NBA news, Josh Odson, this occurred. Del Curry, the father of Steph Curry and Seth Curry, one of them the greatest shooters of all time and one of the greatest point guards of all time. Seth Curry, one of the better 3-point off the bench guys in the 2010s. Del Curry, their father, the longtime NBA veteran, is getting his number retired by the Charlotte Hornets.
I can't believe he didn't already.
Del Curry played 700 games for Charlotte. He averaged 14 points. He picked up the 1993 Sixth Man of the Year award. More notably, though, he's been the longtime color commentator announcer for the Charlotte Hornets and a very big part of that franchise. Beloved by fans, beloved by management. So kudos to Del Curry. So Steph Curry will get his number retired. I wonder how many father-sons across the league both have their numbers retired at respective places. I don't know off the top of my head if I can name you one. Because you got Hardaway and Hardaway Jr., but Hardaway Jr. ain't getting his number retired anyway.
It would be a shock if he did.
Payton and Payton the second. That ain't happening. I can't really think. I mean, Jimmy Butler and Michael Jordan, does that count? I can't tell. Maybe I'm missing an obvious one right there. But other news too before we get into Nebraska basketball, which we'll talk about in a second.
Just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to Charlotte here.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the retired jerseys.
So Mourning, right? Alonzo Mourning's got to be one of them.
No.
What? Alonzo Mourning is not retired by the Charlotte Hornets?
Not according to the one website I've been to. Okay, so huge grain of salt here with this.
I guess he only did play 3 seasons with the Charlotte
But
Hornets.
I would have thought like you that the
Yeah.
the trio of Alonzo Mourning, Grandmama, and Muggsy Bogues
I know, right?
would like
Yeah.
Wow. It's Bill Russell and Bobby Phills.
That's crazy. And now Del Curry. What a terrible franchise. They'll retire Chris Paul though. Eventually, you think?
What if every team that he played for just okay? We got to retire.
We got to retire him. You think Houston retires his number? I don't know. He was only there for what?
I think the Hawks should retire Melo's number.
Yeah. Well, the Bulls should retire Melo's number too. He was a trade casualty, a contract casualty of the Bulls. Which, by the way, Melo should have been a Bull. If you know, you know. He should have. They should have signed it. But Derrick Rose didn't want anyone on that team other than him and Joakim Noah. And then, his knee exploded into a bunch of different pieces, and his legendary career kind of. And he was only there for 2 years in Houston. He'll get retired by the Hornets, and he'll get retired by the Clippers, and nobody else. Which
a lot of people in line ahead of Chris Paul in Charlotte.
You think?
To get his number retired.
You think?
Yeah.
Who? I don't think Mourning is ahead of Chris Paul.
I mean, if we're just doing like word association.
Sure.
I don't know about stats or years of tenure or anything like that.
I would say this, that
cultural impact.
Chris Paul's Charlotte Hornets days became more remembered for the fact that he couldn't get to the Lakers than what he actually accomplished there. That is true. So Del Curry get his number retired. Georgia Tech, I spoiled the headline there. Former Michigan running back Justice Haynes, he entered the portal a couple of days ago. I know that was a name that a lot of Nebraska fans were thinking, maybe they can make a big splash and he can be their big running back addition. For those who forget, and I don't think there are a lot who forget, Justice Haynes had a very big game against Nebraska. He's going to Georgia Tech. So Justice Haynes off of the running back portal board, big get for Ja Tech. And then we have some updates here. Quote here from Steelers president Art Rooney II on possibly trading Mike Tomlin. Mike indicated that he did not anticipate coaching, at least in the near future. If something like that comes up, we'll deal with it then. But we'll deal with it when it comes up. But right now, it doesn't appear to be on his radar. Speculation yesterday that he probably was going to enter TV. That will only go up after reportedly from his own president, he doesn't anticipate him having a job this year. So for all of the fans who got really excited that Mike Tomlin could be the next head coach of the Falcons or the Dolphins or the Browns or the Cardinals, doesn't seem like it's going to happen. In other AFC North former head coaching news, John Harbaugh is meeting with the Giants today. And he's setting up other in-person interviews as well. Harbaugh has spoken to basically every other team with an opening, but he is in-person meeting with the Giants today, and then he anticipates meeting with the Titans later as well.
Hey!
We're still
save the best for last. Right?
Always save the best for last. By the way, old friend alert, Jim Schwartz had a interview today with the Ravens.
I saw that graphic today. They all put out a graphic.
Yeah, now. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I liked it when it was all through the tea leaves and like all of the insiders had to tell you that these secret meetings were going on. I'm really not.
I guess it's informative.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I was like, whoa, Jim Schwartz, we're really interviewing every possible candidate.
I used to like it when no one had a flip of what was going on when it came to head coaching interviews. So we are still waiting on other things to happen, but that has kind of been the rundown of what's happened in the last hour since we talked about Creighton basketball with John Walker. All right, let's talk about Nebraska basketball.
Finally.
Man, they're so good. They are so good.
Beat them down.
They are a great team. I said this on Monday.
Team, keyword team.
Yeah, but they're great.
They're
just great.
Absolutely.
Like,
you can't deny it.
Dude, I don't give a rat's ass they don't have Darren Peterson. I couldn't give less of a crap that they don't have a Cam Boozer. I do not care. I do not care that they don't have a guy that's going to go in the top 60 in the NBA draft this year. It does not matter. Do you know what I saw yesterday from that team compared to Oregon? I saw a team that just cared more. They just wanted it more. They were more aggressive on the offensive rebounds. They were more active on the defensive end. Sam Hoiberg had 5 steals in the first half. They played with a physicality, intensity, and speed that just not many teams can match. Rink Mast had 5 points in 17 minutes of play. And I want to mention this too. So yesterday they went ahead and the original plan was they were going to have Rink Mast on the big man Biddle. It was like 7 foot. And they were going to switch on everybody except for Rink. Okay. They were going to keep Rink on Biddle the entire time, but then switch 1 through 4. That's a big defensive plan, and that revolves a ton around Rink. But Rink goes ahead and gets himself in foul trouble. And so he's got to sit back on the bench. And so they got to take Rink out, and then they go ahead. And so, Nebraska isn't a very big team to begin with. So you're without your 6'10" guy. And then now you got to go ahead and switch on everybody with your smaller team without one of your bigger players. And so Oregon had the advantage on the offensive end from a height, weight matchup perspective. And yet this smaller Nebraska team just was scrappy and smart and active and just caused so many turnovers. And I think they had a total of like 11 steals yesterday. And here's a stat for you. They out-offensive rebounded Oregon yesterday. They had more total rebounds than Oregon, and they had more offensive rebounds than Oregon. They played a team that had a 6'9" guy, 6'10" guy, and a 7-footer. And they were without their 6'10" power forward for a lot of that game. Rick Mask only had 5 points and in 17 minutes of play, and yet they go ahead and Oregon only scored 55 points and they beat them by 35. I mean, it is and Dana Altman said it in his press conference. He goes, they're really good at offense, and I give them a ton of credit, but man, they are great at defense. And I would rather travel with defense than travel with shooting, because you don't know when they're going to go in, but you can count on your defense. This team, even without a key piece in their game plan, still executed at an incredibly high level on the defensive end. And then on top of that, we've kind of seen this coming. We've kind of been waiting for this. They had the shooting night. They had the night where it's like, we know that this team can have a night where they just don't miss. They didn't miss. 53% from the field, 17 3-pointers, 47% from beyond the arc. Sanford had 7 threes. Braden Frager, man, what a stud. 7 threes. He's just so confident. He is such a dynamic scorer. Can step back, so comfortable with that shot from 3. But on top of that slam dunk that he had right in that guy's face. Athletic, nifty, agile. And then Sam,
not a bad guy to have coming off the bench.
No, not at all. And it's funny too. Nebraska can get a ton of production out of Braden Frager and win games. And Nebraska can get 0 production out of Braden Frager and still win games. Mm-hmm. That's what's incredible about this team, is that go ahead and look at this team, some of these teams' wins. Like, Braden Frager has not been a massive part of all of these victories. He's honestly come on more, in this most recent stretch than beginning of the season. I mean, he can come in and contribute, and they'll win by a lot of points. If he doesn't come in and contribute, they still have an opportunity to beat high-level teams, and we know that because they've done that already. So this team is deep. They care. They got great culture. They want to win. They know their roles.
They look like they're having a lot of fun.
They look like they're having a blast. Mm-hmm. And then you couple that in with this Nebraska the Nebraska basketball fan base is awesome. It is. It's a lot of people who, there aren't. This isn't a bandwagon fan base. Okay, when I went to the University of Nebraska, I knew even then when this team had Alonzo Verge and Kobe Webster and Lat Mann, teams that were people that were still going to the games every single week, that were still locked in on what they were doing, and very much cared about the team. And so this fan base, I mean, it has a ton of passionate fans that have been waiting for a breakthrough like this to happen, especially like Fred Hoiberg. And you kind of got teased with it, right? Like that the Tominaga, CJ Wilcher, Bryce Williams, Rink Maskier, it teased you a little of like, hey, look what happens when this team hits in the portal. Look what happens when they evaluate the right talent and bring them in. Look, Nebraska can do this every year. And then you got teased a little bit more last year with they kind of do the same thing, bringing a lot of guys into the portal. They beat UCLA. They beat Oregon. They go on this big winning streak. And you're like, oh, man, yes, this is sustainable. This is something they can do year in and year out. And then what happens at the end of the year? You lose to Minnesota. You lose to Iowa. You lose games you shouldn't have. You don't even make the Big Ten tournament. You get yourself guessing again, is Fred right for the job? This season has essentially told you, hell yeah. Like the model is there. Mm-hmm. Fred does know what he's doing. Fred does know the type of team that he wants. And you always got to go back and credit Emmanuel Bandamel, Derek Walker, and Jawan Gary, and Sam Griesel for setting a culture, for being like, hey, this is what we got to look like. This is how we have to play. And I think that Fred, through the 7 years of him being a head coach at Nebraska, has learned, okay, I need to be a defensive team. I need to get old. I need to be physical. And then I got to build a team. And I think the fourth thing is what he learned this year. I got to build the team the way that I want to build the team. I found out I had to get old. Found out I had to be good on defense. I found out that I had to be physical. But now I've realized I can do those three things and I can get the shooting that I need. I can get the spacing that I need. I can run the offense that I need to be successful, because this is the offense that he ran when he was with Iowa State. So, I mean, things are falling into place. I understood if people were hesitant about this team before the Illinois game. I saw everything I needed to see in Champaign for me to say, hey, this team's legit. It doesn't matter if it took people long enough to get on the bandwagon or to get on the train of this team is legit. Now it's time to get on this train. This team's great. This team's great. It just is. It is relentless. It does not give up. It plays consistent. And the only thing that is really up in the air is basketball, right? Which is, do the shots go in? But everything else is there. And that's all you can really ask for. And so they are 17-0, 21 straight wins dating back to last year. Very much on their way to extending that winning streak with some of the teams that they have left on the schedule. Mm-hmm. BTA yesterday at PBA.
And you go to the flip side of that, Oregon, 8-9. They've lost 3 in a row.
They're
1-5 in the Big Ten. Their next two are Michigan and Michigan State. I don't have boots on the ground.
Neither do I.
Reporting in Eugene, but would it shock you if Dana wasn't there next year?
No.
I'm not rooting for that to happen.
It's one of those things too where
come on home, Dana. The Czech Fest needs you.
It's one of those things too where Dana's had a ton of success at Oregon.
Absolutely.
And they've made, they've made deep run. They made a Final Four with him. They've made deep runs in the NCAA tournament. For 5 straight years, they were ranked consistently in college basketball. But these last 4 seasons, these last couple of years, they won 20 plus games the last 2 years, and they've made the tournament the last 2 years. I don't know. I think I would have to have more of a. I don't think I'm locked in enough to tell you. What is going to happen.
I'm certainly not. I'm just going based on record, and
at this point, they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. They would have only have made the NCAA tournament 2 in the last 5 years. You also have to kind of get into is there some coaching fatigue there? With him, this will be this is his 18th season at Oregon. He's had a very long tenure there. I think it's actually closer to like 15 seasons. But
it probably doesn't feel very good in Eugene right now for them.
No. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this season plays out for him. It really will be. I mean, to remind everybody, I mean, it's not as if they haven't made the tournament in 6 years or anything like that.
Right.
But, Oregon has a lot of money, and it's not just in football. It's in other things as well. And, where there's money carries a lot of expectations, right? So we'll see where it happens. I'm not willing to make some hyperbolic, not hyperbolic, but big claim that Dana Altman is going to be back in Oregon next year. But your question is valid.
Yeah.
And that question will be answered. Look, if they continue down this path and they keep getting their ass blown out in the Big Ten and they only win, 15 games this year or something like that, then yeah, the answer to your question is probably yes. So we will see what happens with Oregon and what more importantly happens with Nebraska basketball. All right, coming up next, we got a little bit of a car wash of things to talk about, a lot of things going on in sports, and then at 12 o'clock we'll go ahead and we'll talk about Mike Ekeler. What the hell, dude? We love you here. Don't go. Don't leave, Mike. What the hell's going on? I mean, I didn't even know that this was a thing until a couple of days ago, and it'd be really bad if it were to happen. So we'll talk about that. Dante Moore is still yet to make a decision. We'll go ahead. We'll also talk about Marcus Freeman's game put at Notre Dame. We still also have to touch on the fact that college football is having a big meeting on Sunday. A lot of bases to touch on. No more interviews yet, but the odd news at 12:30, along with just a lot of discussions about college basketball, college football, and the NFL draft, which is going to be heavily impacted along with like 9 other people, depending on what Dante Moore decides to do. So we'll talk about all that here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, time for congratulations here to Omaha World Herald writer Tom Chattel, friend of mine. Always enjoy talking to Mr. Chattel, whether it be at Omaha men's basketball games or the College World Series or whenever the hell I see him. I always bug Tom. I see Tom, I go, Tom, and he looks at me and goes, hey, how are you? And then we just give takes.
Is that your Tom?
Yeah, no, it's Tom. I don't have a Tom. And then we just give takes back and forth. And then like Tom Chattel and I, like, we're not great friends or anything like that. We're more so friendly than anything. But he's just one of those guys where you can like have some intense conversations with, and it's never personal. Like you can disagree with him, but it's all in the. He loves the game. You know what I'm saying? He loves the game of convo.
The take game.
He loves the take game. He loves the opinion game. But he's willing to listen to your opinion, which is why I always love talking to him. I want to give him congratulations because he was inducted or announced today. He will be inducted into the 2026 Joe Mitch Hall of Fame class of writers, which they will be honored at this upcoming Final Four in April. It's the U.S. Basketball Writers Association will be inducting Omaha's own Tom Chattel into their Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Mr. Chattel, one of the best. I know a lot of people who have grown up here and have been following sports here in Nebraska definitely know of Tom and all the great work that he does at the OWH. So congratulations to Tom Chattel. Cannot wait for him to have that experience in April in Indianapolis for the Final Four. Maybe he'll also be writing about a team that will be at Indianapolis in the Final Four. Will it be the Huskers? Will it be the Blue Jays? Or will it be the Mavericks, who actually have a pretty big game on Saturday against Oral Roberts? I think that game is at Oral Roberts in Oklahoma. Other things that happened when we were at break. Adam Thielen retiring from the NFL. Screw that guy.
Whoa.
He's
Whoa.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy.
He always killed our team. Always. He seems like
when he was with the Panthers, he always killed the Bears.
No, when he was with the Vikings, he always killed the Bears.
When he was with the Steelers.
No, he wasn't. Talking about when he was a Minnesota Viking. He was a hell of a wide receiver. I'm actually kidding. I don't actually hate Adam Thielen. This has been coming.
You can hate him if you want.
He's been like half retired though for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Like he's been like 1 foot in, 1 foot out for forever. But after 13 seasons in the NFL and a 2-time Pro Bowl selection for the Vikings, I don't know if he's definitely not a Hall of Famer. Is he a Ring of Honor guy for Minnesota? Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I think that's like a good ceiling. You know, there are plenty of great football players who were Ring of Honor, but not Hall of Famers. Actually, I don't know if that statement is fully true, but regardless, he could definitely. Well, that's more of a Mike Schaefer topic than anything. I'll text him during the break. Let's go ahead to the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. Matt at 1620 The Zone. Josh O at 1620 The Zone. Don't forget to email us all of your thoughts. Also, too, if you want to call us, 402-951-1620. Give us your thoughts and opinions on everything going on. John writes in. We always love John. He goes, Ekeler is the title of his email. The worst thing about losing Ekeler is that Rule would likely replace him by giving Foley his job back. He didn't want to demote him and hire Ekeler to begin with. That's not entirely false. He did let Foley literally bring in Jack McAllister, a Washington punter, just to have Ekeler come in and say, nah, we got this Australian guy. His name's Arch. He's coming with me. No, sorry, Jack, go ahead. And actually, Jack McAllister didn't have a bad season at Purdue at all. It's funny, in the shower yesterday, I was thinking that as well, of how on brand would it be if they ended up bringing Foley back? It would be an absolute disaster. Coming up next year on Middays with Matt, we're going to talk about that. It would be a disaster if Mike Ekeler went to USC for a multitude of reasons. We will talk about all of those reasons. And it is not an understatement. I understand that college football is fluid. I understand that coaches bounce around places all the time. I understand that teams poach coaches from other teams. Hell, Nebraska, some of their best moves this offseason has been doing that. They did that with Jeep Wade and Georgia Tech. But if there's anybody that you can't allow to get poached, it's this guy. We'll talk about that next year on 1620.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Soul.
I got a new computer, and I don't think there's anything more annoying than like having to log back into that. Like it's one of those things you don't really like think of, but we're all adults here, right? We have about like 17,000 things that we are logged into. You're logged into your email, you're logged into your YouTube TV, you're logged into your Netflix, you're logged into your Peacock, you're logged into your PFF, you're logged into your Ken Palm, you're logged into your On3 subscription, you're logged into your Counter Read subscription, you're logged into should I go on? You don't realize how many things you are logged into until you've been logged out.
Hey, we'll send you a text and you can log in.
Oh my
God.
God.
We'll send you an email to your alternate email. And
yeah, okay, I got a question for you.
We got a carrier pigeon en route to you with the code to log in.
This is a great point, Josh Hodson. I need somebody in software to ask me, is two-factor authentication, is it really that effective? Is it really that big of a deal? Do I really need it that badly? Like what? Like seriously?
You want my work emails? You can have them.
I literally couldn't agree. I don't understand why I have to jump through all the hoops to get back. All right, now see, I've been trying to log in to my PFF here and I can't log in, and it was pretty, I needed it. And then you forget also too, like I don't have the same password for every account. I have the same like iteration, but then like, the special characters BS, I don't know if I put a parentheses or a quote or the at or a quote and the at or the at and the parentheses or the at and the asterisks.
Because of the two-factor, I've gone back to same password for everything.
I know. It's made us less.
They'll text me the code. I'm the only one with that phone number getting the code. So the password's irrelevant.
Here's another thing. See, here's another thing as well. I hate it when I put in my new password and then they go, well, your new password can't match your old password. I'm like, then why the hell wasn't it working? What do you mean?
Great take.
So
one of your best.
Thank you. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. You don't know. Also, too, this whole Rocket Money, you've seen this Rocket Money commercial where they convince you to put all of your banking information into this app for them to tell you, what you're spending on.
You idiot! You had 6 subscriptions to DoorDash.
It's such a dumb commercial. And actually, if they presented it better, it's something I would download.
It's a very cheaply made commercial.
It's such a bad, and they're all over Instagram too. I think I actually need it because I go through my bank statements and I'm like, dude, what do you? I didn't know I was paying for this. Still, I'm now also too. I used to be the dummy that I was like, oh, I'd rather pay monthly,
instead of
annually.
Yeah.
Screw that. Now that I got the full-time job, I'm an annual subscription guy.
Okay.
You will not catch my ass paying for a monthly subscription anymore. You won't. So Eric here in the chat goes, McMaster, you need a password protected spreadsheet that contains all of your passwords. Then you just have to remember one password or use a password manager. Probably would be smart. There's a lot of other things in my life that I need.
Don't let me tell you how to live, Matt.
Yeah.
But you are 20 years too young to be using a list of your passwords, okay? I'm just turning the age one becomes when they're like, maybe I should write all these down and put them somewhere.
Sure. I'm also like, I haven't done the budgeted spreadsheet thing yet either, but I think I'm like about 4 years away from that.
I'll get more money.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've.
It's coming every 2 weeks. I don't need to know what's in there, what's coming, what's going. It's fine.
Honestly, I'm in that very immature part of my life where I'm like, it comes back. It's just money.
I'm 40, and that's what I do.
Yeah, I know.
Should I be doing that? No, absolutely not.
Speaking about money, let's talk about a guy who probably is going to end up making more money when this is all said and done. Mike Ekeler. The special teams coach, former linebackers coach, and then just, full-on special teams coach for Nebraska this season, is Nebraska's best coach on their coaching staff. He is. He much like another outside hire that was made by Matt Rule that he didn't have a ton of personal connection with, took chicken S and made chicken salad. Special teams unit that Mike Ekeler put together this season was made of a lot of the guys that they had on the team last year. And they ended up being a very, very good unit. Now, at the same time, they definitely did kind of taper off at the end of the year. They did.
That's been my thing today. They started hot.
And they started super hot.
And the bar was on the floor, and then they cleared it by a mile. But
I do want a couple of things to be added to that. Well, there's a couple of caveats there. Okay. The first caveat is this: Kenneth Williams got hurt. Okay. That was a pretty big deal. And it was very clear that Ja'Cory Barney had no intention of returning kicks at an efficient manner. And he was, I honestly think that Ja'Cory Barney was injured dating all the way back to the first hit he took of the season in Cincinnati. I mean, he had a clipped wing or something because he did not have the explosiveness I thought that he would have throughout the season. So they come out and Archie from a net punt yards perspective was not very good. From a inside the 20 perspective, though, and inside the 10 perspective, he was very good. And he was often asked to do more of shorter kicks and booch kicks and more position kicks. And so all this to say, Nebraska's special teams unit throughout the entirety of the year gave them such a position advantage. I mean, if you want to talk about the fact that they didn't have those explosive kicks toward the end of the year that they did in the beginning of the year, I agree with you. That did happen. We cannot forget, though, of what those explosive kicks did and how they literally won them the Maryland game. And that it was massive in the Northwestern game. But the position game, the field position game all year long favored Nebraska. And when it did not favor Nebraska in the Iowa game, Nebraska got their butts whooped. And I think that Iowa game was just there to kind of show you, hey, this is what Nebraska football looks like when they can't win the special teams game. Because, outside of one weird kick that got caught up in the air and Nebraska ended up recovering it, Iowa dominated field position and they dominated the special teams game. So Mike Ekeler is a very, very good special teams coach. Turned this unit around, was worth about 2 wins this year in a season where if they didn't win those 2 games, man, we would have totally different discussions on the future of Matt Rule.
Absolutely.
It's more than just that, though, Josh. It's more than just the stats. And it's more than just the field positioning. And it's more than just punt return average or kick return average when it comes to Mike Ekeler. It's about this. He's authentic. He brings an identity to the special teams unit. In a program that fails to have an identity and that has failed over the last 3 years to establish an identity, Mike Ekeler is the closest thing to bringing that. He is, for a program who many fans have questioned the authenticity of the words being said to them and the authenticity at times of their head coach, Mike Ekeler is the most authentic guy on that coaching staff. And he is the one that has the most clear identity. He is a passionate, energy-giving, smart special teams coach. You know exactly what you are getting from him. You are getting just intellect when it comes to how to play the special teams, phase of the game. But at the same time, you are getting a guy who cares so much about players, a guy who cares so much about players that his office is located in a completely different area from all of the coaches. His office is specifically located so he could have the most interaction with players possible. Okay. He is not just the special teams coach. In many ways, he is the heartbeat of the program. In many ways, he is an engine of the program that brings life, passion, and energy to a team that at times was brutally lacking those aspects. You cannot lose this coach. You cannot lose Mike Ekeler. You cannot lose one of your best X's and O's coach, but you can especially not lose one of your passionate, most authentic, most identifiable coaches on this staff. He is a coach that fans love. They love Mike Ekeler. And you are running out of characters on this team that fans can identify with, that fans want to root for, that fans truly enjoy and truly love. You have plenty of coaches that have fallen out of favor or are less or are in less favor with the fans than they used to be. Right? You can go down the list of Matt Rule. Definitely not in as positive a position now as he was a year ago. Dana Holgerson, definitely not in as positive a position now as he was a year ago. You have a staff of, sort of unknowns, right? Because you had to fire a bunch of guys who became completely unfavorable in the eyes of the fans. John Butler, Donovan Raiola, just to name two of them. So Mike Ekeler, man, is not only just like a really good coach and very good at what he does and literally shifted results of football games because of how he coaches, but he also is just the heartbeat in many ways of this football program. And man, if you were to lose a guy like that, not only just from a coaching perspective, but also just from a what the hell are we doing perspective, like, who are you? Like, if this comes down to money and this comes down to what responsibilities, who the hell are you going to pay? Like who on this staff really deserves to get paid more money than what they're currently getting paid? Maybe Addison Williams. He obviously is a very big cog in this machine and something that Matt Rule values. But if you're not willing to break the bank to keep Mike Ekeler, if you're not willing to maybe open up your staff a little bit to give him more responsibilities and give him more of what he wants, then who the hell are you willing to do that for? Like what are the priorities? Because the number one priority is let's keep our best coach who's made the biggest impact on the roster or in the program, and let's make sure we do everything we possibly can to do that. Because I can't imagine a way to suck the energy more out of this program than allowing Mike Ekeler to go, not just to USC, but to go to a team that is in your conference. And he would it would also be like, kind of be a lateral move too. It's not like he's going, from being the special teams coordinator to being the defensive coordinator. It's not like he's going from, making, I don't know how much, I don't know how much money he actually makes. I should have researched that, but shouldn't be hard to imagine. I mean, Nebraska's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're paying a ton of players. Mike Ekeler, keeping Mike Ekeler is more important than any transfer portal guy that you get. He seriously is. Okay. I think the only one that I could say that is more important than Ekeler is Anthony Calandria, because he plays the most important position in the sport.
Tony.
Outside of Tony, nobody else is more important than Mike Ekeler.
For me, it just boils down to okay, I don't think I like Mike Ekeler. Clearly did a great job in the 1 year there, but if he leaves, it's not the end of the world to me, but it does make me go, hey, what the hell's happening over there? What's going on in Lincoln? What's happening in those walls? That
I've seen multiple tweets of people being like, if they let Eck go, this is the last straw.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of that too. And that's fine. You can feel that way.
Let me go ahead and read you this text from a dear friend of mine.
A dear friend.
If Rule lets Eck get away, I'm rioting and calling for the man's head. Okay. I don't agree with that. That's very hyperbolic, but that isn't too far away from the feeling about how people feel about Mike Ekeler. People love Mike Ekeler. And let's be real here. The fan base and the support of the fan base matters at the University of Nebraska. Okay. It's a lot harder to do your job as the head coach of the University of Nebraska when you have the people in front of you as opposed to behind you. Okay. And there are more people who are getting on the front lines being like, I don't know if this is what we thought it would be.
Matt Rule probably wants some people behind him.
You need more people
this
behind
upcoming
you.
Season.
Dude, I can't think of a coaching staff maneuver that would get more people not believing in what you're doing than allowing your best coach to no longer be on the staff, and then letting him go and get the same job at another university in the Big Ten. What type of message does that send to other teams in the Big Ten if USC can just go and grab Mike Ekeler and say, hey, come over here? Now, there have been discussions of, number one, him getting more money, and number two, him potentially coaching the linebackers at USC.
I've heard this. I've seen this.
I like Rob Dvorak. I'm a fan of Rob Dvorak. Okay? Really nice guy. Think he's got a very bright future in coaching. Man, it's not as if the linebacking core has been absolutely killing it in the 3 years that he's been coaching. Okay? It's not as if that group has been absolutely dominant. If anything, last season, that group did not live up to the billing. It was not nearly consistent enough. Okay? And when we talk about the lack of, stopping the run, a lot of that falls in the D-line, but the linebackers are a part of that as well. Okay? And there were moments where Javen Wright and Vincent Shavers would pop, and you'd be like, oh my God. And then there were moments they would disappear. And also, too, Marquise Watson-Trent just should not have been on a Power 5 football field. He should not have been a linebacker in the Big Ten. I mean, he was just way too small and got swallowed up. I'm not saying to fire Rob Dvorak and give Mike Ekeler, the entire room. But if Eck wants more of a responsibility within the linebacking room, all right, and that's what's going to keep him around, then you need to do that, because the special, keeping the special teams unit together and keeping Mike Ekeler is worth more than making sure that Rob Dvorak is the only guy that has say in terms of what happens in the linebacker room. Now, if you want to look at it as, hey, he wants more responsibility with the linebackers, and that's simply something that we can't give him and USC can, maybe I would, I would have a little bit more empathy toward the situation and say, all right, I guess they couldn't fold, Eck wanted something different and they fully couldn't, they could not give that to him. We'll see when that comes out. But the point is this: they need to do everything they possibly can to keep Mike Ekeler around. And it's not just from what does the special teams unit looks like? It's what does your program looks like? What does your identity look like? What does the authenticity of the program look like? And how do fans support and respond to you? And so many people enjoy Mike Ekeler and the energy and passion and just the things that he brings to the program, on top of the fact that his unit that he took over, that had so many of the same pieces that were asked the year before, ended up winning you football games.
That's what makes him in demand, though.
If you can't keep that guy around, what are you doing? What are we doing? It's like we're shopping for jeans. Like we're looking for Fabio. Okay? If you play like Minnesota in here, you will lose to Minnesota out there. Don't play like the cheapskates Minnesota. Play like you're damn Nebraska. And make sure that you keep the guys that you need to keep in order to keep things good where it's already sparingly happening. Keep the guys that perform for you. And don't let yourself get outbid and out negotiated by other teams in your conference. Don't play like the cheapskates that allow them to be bullied. Don't be bullied. People are sick and tired of Nebraska being bullied. They see it on the football field on Black Friday. They see it in Vegas. They see it in College Station. They see it in Minnesota. And they're sick and tired of it happening. And they're sick and tired of Nebraska getting bullied when it's not on the football field. And if you allow Mike Ekeler to go to USC, one of your most important coaches, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Because it ain't to win football games. I'll tell you that. Odd news with Josh Otson coming up next.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there?
I see
the
what
odd
you did there.
news with Odd Son.
I get it. You're smart.
I know. I'm not. I forget it's what do they call that when they go back? Oh, whatever. It's music. I don't care. Odd news with Odd Son.
Hello.
Hello. I'm always watching, Mike Wazowski. Josh Odson.
Yes.
Let's do the odd news.
I talked about this briefly on the tail end of the all-new Happer and Schaefer.
Whoa.
This morning.
Happer and Schaefer. Is there a tag at the end of that? Is it Happer and Schaefer in the morning?
No.
Happer and Schaefer show?
Happer and Schaefer.
Just Happer and Schaefer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like Happer and Schaefer. They're my friends.
They're my best friends.
Whoa, okay. I didn't know it was competition or anything like that.
It is.
All right. I guess. Shoot, I think I'm going to lose that one. Go ahead, though, Josh.
I know
Odson.
you're competitive. I thought maybe you'd try and.
I don't try and force friendships. I've learned very, very quickly that that's probably not the best thing to do.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know.
Whether UConn men's basketball is tracking towards a natty again or not, a Seton Hall victory has been guaranteed when the teams meet in New Jersey every year since 2021. The Huskies finally snapped. They had not had a win since 2021.
Okay.
They snapped. That's a poorly written article. They snapped their 4-game losing streak at the Prudential Center last night, 69 nice to 64. As it turns out, UConn's confounding Garden State struggles might have been supernatural.
Whoa!
A UConn fan Twitter account, aka a burner that supports UConn.
Whoa!
What are you doing? You watching
Sorry.
videos during the
No,
odd
I
news?
didn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Shared that their friend had hired a witch on Etsy specifically to remove the Huskies' curse at the Prudential Center ahead of Tuesday's game. Dan Hurley addressed the ultimately successful ritual during his post game, and just a theory, a sports media theory.
Okay,
if we're gonna critique a lady for being nice to the head coach and call her an idiot for doing so, maybe we call the person who asked Dan Hurley about an Etsy witch an idiot too.
By the way,
just a thought.
Why was anybody critiquing that lady for doing that? I thought it was so sweet and so nice, and I can't believe there were critics about that.
I get it, time and place. Like
I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you.
Like, can't something just be nice?
If I did that, 23-year-old man did that. Yeah, maybe. All right. But older woman who definitely has seen coaches fail and seen coaches, all that type of stuff do well and succeed, and probably has a better understanding of like the ups and downs of being a head coach in any sort of sport. Her doing that, she has earned that credibility and earned that right to do that. I can't believe people had a problem with that. So what did Hurley say though?
Hurley said, I would say UConn fans are a different animal. It's not surprising. But what am I going to say about it? I spray holy water all over the court. I sage my court. I throw garlic under the bleachers. I mean, I'm a cartoon character, so I don't know how I could pass judgment on some other bizarre bleep.
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Kind of the same vibe a little bit when we're talking about witches and whatnot.
So the UConn burners hired an Etsy witch.
Hell yeah.
To get rid of the bad mojo.
What does an Etsy witch go for nowadays?
Great
in 2026?
Because if Happer and Schaefer brought up, well, should we hire an Etsy witch?
Yeah.
I said, yes, I don't care what it costs. I'll find the company credit card.
Yeah. I mean, if it's for sports is work-related purposes, right?
Absolutely.
So if we need, some games to be won in order to make sure that we can have the best coverage possible.
Absolutely.
Now I wonder if we talked to an Etsy witch and said, hey, can you lift the Nebraska football curse? They would be like, I can't perform miracles.
No,
I can only do things that are realistic under the tree of being a witch. Okay. You know what? I'm being real with you. We should try this.
We should.
We should actually hire an Etsy witch. This would be a great wacky guest Wednesday person. Eventually.
Etsy witch.
Etsy witch. What do you do? First off, do you get like a certificate?
Yep.
I have so many questions.
Is this
when
like
it comes
being
to,
ordained online where anyone can do it?
Were you born into it? Like, did you wake up and your mom was like, all right, I got something to tell you. Do you ever watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay, I have. Was it good? A lot of people talk about that. Like it's there's some stands out there about it.
Hit and miss for me.
Yeah, did it miss? Did you ever watch K-pop Demon Hunters? That's a big one right now.
I know a lot of the songs. My child has played a lot of
Really?
them for
Your
me.
6-year-old son is into
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
He loves the songs. Yeah.
Okay. I'll know that next time I babysit him.
My take, Golden, the most popular of the songs.
I don't
not
care.
the best.
I don't care.
Not the best.
I don't care.
We go to Australia.
Archie.
No. A tennis player learned yesterday not to celebrate victory before the match is really won. Sorry, tennis stands. I'm going to get some names wrong here.
Oh, let's do it.
But before Sebastian Offner lost in us, did I really butcher it?
No, I don't know him. I don't know him.
I thought maybe you would.
No, I might.
In Australian Open qualifying, the 29-year-old Austrian had raised his arms and walked toward the net after taking a 7-1 lead in the decisive tiebreaker against a man whose name I won't even try and pronounce.
Try it. Nick Kyrgios?
Nishesh Basavredi.
Hey, that's not bad.
Prove me wrong. Prove I was wrong. The chair umpire sent Offner back to continue playing the super tiebreaker until he got to 10 points, not 7.
Yeah, I was going to
and
say.
was 2 points ahead. Minutes later,
he lost.
Wow.
How are you a professional tennis player? You don't know the rules.
Great question. How do so many people not know a tie is possible in the NFL?
That's how does Archie Wilson not know that you can't hit a guy when he's 8 yards out of bounds on the sideline? How does he not? I don't know. Questions to be asked. Maybe Mike Ekeler should go to USC.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I just had a whole rant about why he shouldn't.
Finally, new app alert.
Oh, okay.
This one is very popular in China right now.
All right.
Sometimes just nice to know that you exist.
Sure.
And a Chinese company is cashing in on that feeling with a new app called Are You Dead? Apparently, there are so many lonely singles in the world's second most populous country. There's a huge untapped market for regular check-ins. The way it works is simple. You set up your emergency contacts, and every couple of days, the app sends a green button with a ghost on it. Users have to click it to confirm they are alive. If they miss 2 consecutive days of notifications, the app notifies their emergency contacts to check on them. All for a little over $1.
This is some BS government oversight deal here. What in the 1984 are we doing?
One user told BBC News there's a fear that people living alone might die unnoticed with no one to call for help. I sometimes wonder if I died alone, who would collect my body? Despite the app's name, Are You Dead? It's all the rage in Hong Kong, Singapore, and the US.
How is it a rage? What do you mean raging about confirming to a third party that you haven't been deceased yet? It's not Life Alert. All right. So here's the thing. Life Alert, if you're worried about living alone and people not knowing that you get hurt, that's what Life Alert is.
Yes.
All right.
I'm alive but I'm in peril, so I will hit the button on this necklace.
And I will.
The Are You Dead app is just
happens.
It's too late.
Yes, it's way too late. So it doesn't do it. It all it does is tell some governments, hey, these people are still alive, or X amount of people have died today, or this or that, or blah blah blah, whatever.
Hey, check apartment 13. There might be a dead guy in there.
Yeah. Like all it does is just clean things up a little bit quicker. That is what there's no effect to that app. If you're worried about dying living alone, get Life Alert, or how about this? Pay less in rent and live with someone. I do that.
Also, what a horrible way to find out someone you love has died.
Honey, I got the app notification. Aunt Maureen, she's gone.
Aunt Lorraine didn't check the.
She didn't hit
check
the box
2 days in a row.
Also, too. So if I don't hit the app, first off, I want to make this very clear. I'm the type now. I never forget to brush my teeth. Okay,
that's good.
But I will often forget to take my medicine. Now I don't have like heart medicine or life or death medicine or anything like that. Like I have medicine more so for like just comfort, right?
You told us about it over the weekend.
I did. But like, I'm very, I forget all the time to take, my peptides or my Tums or whatever, right? I would be destined to forget to hit the green button. I definitely would.
I just got busy.
I got busy. Yeah, sorry. I mean, it's like an email to me. I forgot to. I didn't get to it. My bad. It's like a text message. I'm sorry, I didn't respond. And also too, the whole if you don't hit the green button twice. So let's say you don't hit it once. Are we just like, hey, he better hit it tomorrow? Like, hey, I didn't hit it today.
There's probably
crossing
an
the fingers
anticipation on the other side. Yeah, absolutely.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat, whether or not your loved one has passed away without you knowing about it. That is wild. That is a stupid app. It's dumb app.
I think to pay for it is stupid. Any app you want to create that people can have for free, sure, whatever. There's probably a market for it. You're asking for $1? No, I ain't giving you $1. Keep walking.
Keep walking. Keep walking. That is wild. All right, that was the odd news with Josh Oddson. I think that's the first time we got through that pretty cleanly. Congratulations to us. Also, this was the first time that we did it and monkeys and goats weren't on the loose in some sort of state.
I had no update from St. Louis today. Tomorrow are the goats and monkeys dead?
Well, I hope they're not dead. I
hope they're not too. But at a certain point, if you can't take control of the situation, you got to take control of the situation.
I agree.
I mean?
I hear you. I'm picking up what you're dropping down here. And like we said before, when this first happened, a truck in St. Louis losing a lot of monkeys sounds like a plot to a very bad movie. Okay.
Absolutely.
So
primate in theaters.
Now, what happened? There was a truck spill that did spill some animals that had like some sort of pathogenic disease like a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah, they were like radioactive.
Yeah,
monkeys.
they were like
Something
they were being sent to I think Tulane or some sort of university.
Yeah.
You want to check up on that for us, by the way?
Yeah.
Did the radioactive monkeys ever get back in the box? Because
monkeys, can't remember.
And because
originally
they originally like, all right, they died, but then it was like 1 got away, and then I'm pretty sure it turned into like 5 are gone.
5 got away, and the police had to take control of the situation.
But did they kill all of them?
They did.
Okay, good. See, not in favor of monkeys getting killed. In favor though of I'm going to be honest with you. Well, COVID sucked overall. COVID sucked.
Good take.
I definitely got less of the brunt end of COVID, for sure.
You lost a prom.
Yeah, who cares? Prom's overrated.
You're going to care when you're 50.
Yeah. You know what? I was supposed to have the classic prom story that everybody talks about, having a girlfriend and whatnot.
Oh, hello.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was supposed to be the day.
The night.
It was. That was
the night.
Dude, that was the plan.
Seems like you had more time on your hands.
Too much time.
But
Too
I guess,
much time on my hands.
I guess if you can't be within 6 feet of each other, pretty hard to get that done.
Yeah, there were so many. I'm going to be honest with you. There's so many rules that I broke during the COVID.
Whoa!
I did. I'm sorry. I was not a part of. I was locked in my house up until like the summer, and then the summer came, and we were like, well, the curve still isn't flattened. Like, all right, don't matter. And it was crazy though, like being in Chicago and like having your mask on everywhere and having to show your COVID vaccination card, and then you go up to Brainerd, Minnesota, which is 3 hours north of Minneapolis, with very different views on life and very different politics, and you're walking around, it's like COVID never happened up there. That was wild. But speaking about politics, I read a CBS article today about the college football playoff and them making their new rules and whatnot. And I felt like I was reading a political article about a bill that was about to get passed, and it gave me a headache, and I absolutely hated it. And we're going to talk about why it's such a big deal and why this entire playoff conversation is driving me crazy. It should drive you crazy. And I was wrong. I admit it. I was wrong. We'll talk about what I'm talking about here on Middays with Matt. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Out here, in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. And sometimes, that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Stress builds up, you have trouble sleeping, maybe your mind is racing and you just don't feel like yourself. So what do? We get help. Lots of people are struggling with their mental health. It's more common than you think. The good news is, there are people in our community who are here for us when times are tough. Sometimes, just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world, so we don't feel so alone. One thing you can do.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
I don't know. I like the saying "old friend alert." You know, more time often than not, he's used in like a non-serious, facetious, kind of funny type deal. But this isn't necessarily like a funny instance, but it is a guy who was previously connected with Nebraska basketball. For those who have been following the story, Matt Abdelmassih, formerly with Fred Hoiberg and the Nebraska basketball staff, was at St. John's for the last couple of years. He's been their general manager. He was very unceremoniously let go and no longer the GM of St. John's. He was put on administrative leave back in December 20th. Rick Pitino was asked about it. This article was written today. So yesterday St. John's defeated Marquette. Marquette once again gets blown out. Just an absolutely terrible basketball team. Shocking that Shaka Smart, after having a very old and very experienced team of the Big East, just kept nobody and didn't really use the portal to get much older. They lost yesterday to St. John's 92-68. They asked Pitino about Matt Abdelmassih and his dismissal. Pitino responded saying, "It's out of my hands. That's a university decision. I'll abide by it." He continued to say, "All I was told is 4 days ago, look for another general manager. Don't ask any questions. I said, okay, I'll look for one," said Pitino on Tuesday. "They didn't ask me my opinion, and I didn't give it. And in their defense, they didn't want to bother me, and they didn't want to distract me right now. And I appreciate that." Pitino actually went down, so lower down in the article, which was written by Justin Williams, who's a staff writer for Cincinnati, goes, Pitino continued to say, "It's not a big deal. It really isn't. I'm disappointed that somebody loses their job with 4 young kids. Yes, but it's not a big deal in terms of our basketball program." Abdelmassih just recently made a very long statement, essentially saying he's proud of what he accomplished in his 2.5 years at the role. He claims, he goes, "I operated honestly and transparently, working within the parameters I was given with one clear goal, putting together a roster capable of returning St. John's to a top tier in college basketball. College sports is complicated in this moment, and I took on that challenge with professionalism, care, and accountability." He later goes on to say, obviously, he is gutted about how everything ended, despite the fact that it's been behind a lot of, I don't want to say smoke, but definitely behind a curtain. Very weird, very interesting. Pitino was just basically told, hey, your GM's fired. Go find a new one. Don't ask any questions. I'm not willing to go and dig into the dirt sheets and find out what Reddit is saying or what the rumors are and whatnot. I'm sure as time progresses, we'll eventually find out what happened there. But just a quick update on a guy who has previous Nebraska connections. Okay, IT is talking about the college football playoff. There's a big meeting happening on Sunday in Miami. It'll be between the power brokers of college football, the SEC, Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti, Brett Yormark of the Big 12, along with the ACC commissioner and Notre Dame, and then all the other just commissioners that have, something to do with college football will be meeting to discuss the new playoff format that was supposed to be resolved on December 1st. They were granted an extension all the way to January 23rd, which is about 9 days away, to figure out what the hell are they going to do next season in college football. This thing, man, reads like what I imagine political articles would read by, with quotes from a bunch of different senators as to why their idea is the best and what they don't want and why it affects their political party. And that's just annoying. I just feel like we are so disconnected in college football, in particularly, where it's just nobody really cares about the health of the sport, and nobody really cares about the health of the fans and how they consume the sport and what they want. They really just consistently are concerned about how much money are specifically put into their pockets and whether or not they're protected. And if that helps the fans or helps the players or helps the coaches, who gives a damn, right? We're just trying to help ourselves. Essentially, here's what you need to know. The ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC want to have 16 teams, 11 at-large bids, 5 automatic qualifiers for the 5 highest-rated conference champions, okay? So you want everybody essentially gets an automatic bid in the Power 4, and then whoever is next in terms of G5 would get that bid. Now, that's kind of how it was supposed to work, and then the ACC did not uphold their bargain, right? But 11 plus 5 is what they want. The Big Ten does not want that. Big Ten does not want to go to an 11 plus 5. They don't want to have 16 teams in the playoffs. This is what they are proposing. They are saying, okay, we'll go to 16 teams for 3 years. And then after those 3 years, we'll go to 24. Their idea is, well, the SEC, all they want is to brag about how many teams they get into the playoffs. If we go into 24 teams into the playoffs, you will get teams like Missouri and Tennessee who don't really beat teams over 500, but they were highly ranked in the preseason and they win enough games in the SEC schedule against crappy teams to go ahead and make the playoffs. So they're hoping that this 24 team playoff would entice the SEC enough to agree to it. The SEC, and now this is a source from the CBS article. It says CBS Sports reached out to a league executive who said, we're not going to expand just for the sake of expanding. Man, if they were to go to 24 teams, like, here's the thing I like about the 12-team playoff. Like, you give more teams an opportunity to make the playoff. You give more teams an opportunity to win the national championship. Hell, a 10 seed is going to play for the national championship in Miami coming up here pretty soon. But there still is a little, like, accomplishment to it. Like, it still is pretty difficult to make the college football playoff. Ask Notre Dame. They won 10 games in a row, and they did not make the college football playoff. Okay, there still is a bit of hey, there's a barrier of entry here. Like, you have to legitimately be some sort of contender in order to make this playoff. And it's not a prerequisite that you make the playoff. It is an accomplishment that you make the playoff. 16 teams would definitely take away from the aura or the accomplishment of making the playoff. But still, to be top 16 in college football, you got to be You got to have a good year. You got to be half decent. You have to have your moments.
They don't put just anyone in the top 16.
But here's the thing. You go to 24, we've lost the plot. Like then the college football playoff does not become this accomplishment or this fairly difficult thing to do. Or it doesn't. It really doesn't. It becomes a prerequisite. It becomes not a, hey man, we made the playoff, hell of a year. It becomes a, you better make it. You better make the playoff. If I'm a coach, right? If I'm a college football head coach, I like the 12-team playoff because I can make a 12-team playoff and put that on my resume. I can stamp it on there and say, hey man, look at what we did. Not too many teams are able to do this. We got to be a pretty damn good team to do it.
Helps a lot of people, right?
It does. You go ahead and you make the college football playoff. You go ahead and you make the college football playoff 2014. It's like, okay, you're supposed to, man. We put a lot of resources into this, put a lot of money into this. You're supposed to make the college football with 24 teams. It's just too much. It's just not what the sport is about. It bothers. And like, I was wrong because I wanted to expand the playoff from 4 teams to 12 teams. I was in support of that. And people kept telling me, man, when you let this thing out of the box, this Pandora's box, when you let it out of the box, we're only going to get bigger. We're only going to get larger. It's only going to be, water things down.
Surely they'll stop at some point.
No, they will not. And the fact that, because now in this era of college football, you kind of have to identify with your conference because the lines are being drawn between conferences, right? So whatever conference your team is in, you are represented by that conference. That's just kind of how things are working. And it's embarrassing for me, somebody who roots for a team in the Big Ten, to identify with the Big Ten Conference, to be made to look like an ass amongst people in college football because Tony Petitti is acting like an ass. Okay? I'm embarrassed by the fact that the Big Ten just seems like they are the ones that always are just zigging when everybody else wants to zag and just consistently making the unpopular decision. And so I 24 teams would take, like, the college football playoff has a little bit of, has stakes. It has aura. It has something that, like, man, if you make the playoff, you still can be proud of it. You go to 24 teams, get the hell out of here. It's so dumb. It's so stupid.
What's the schedule for a 24-team playoff?
Thank you. Also, too, you're going to be taking more of these bowl games now, and you're going to be folding them into the college football playoff. And so bowls are officially going to be dead. Not that they aren't dead already. And then on top of that, okay, you're going to have more neutral site games too. Like, college football fans have made it very clear, like, what they want and how the sport can be improved. And college football, the power brokers that be, just never listen and never are like, yeah, we want to serve the people that we make this product for. And it's so embarrassing. College football fans go, yeah, we're kind of good with the amount of teams that are in the playoffs, and we would actually like more, on-site campus-based games. And college football is going to say, okay, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to have more teams in the college football playoff, and we're going to have more neutral site games.
People are really watching the Pop-Tarts Bowl. We're going to make it a playoff game, and the score of the game doesn't actually matter.
No, it doesn't.
It matters whoever eats the most Pop-Tarts. That's who wins and advances. Because people are watching the Pop-Tarts Bowl, so it must be good.
So here's another thing, too. So that's my opinion. Here's the informative part that everybody needs to know. They're meeting on Sunday. The deadline is on the 23rd. If they can't come to a new agreement, we'll just repeat this thing again next year. Next year will be a 12. Next year will be a 12-team playoff. Okay. The 3 conferences, the ACC, the Big 12, the SEC, want 16 teams, 11 at-large bids, 5 qualifiers. The Big Ten doesn't want that. Okay. And the only way that they're going to accept a 16-team playoff next year is that if eventually we go to 24 teams 3 years from now. Here is the whole thing that is just the cherry on top that makes this so ridiculous. Let's say everybody else who's involved here, all of the presidents of the conferences and whatnot, including Notre Dame, okay? Say everybody comes to an agreement that, hey, this is what we want. if the SEC and the Big Ten can't agree, like if they don't like what's going on, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, nothing getting done.
Nothing's getting done. So if 11 teams say, or 11 representatives say, this is what we want, and the Big Ten goes, well, we're not in agreement with the SEC, none of this crap is getting done. That is so dumb. So, like, if I'm the commissioner of the American Conference, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm going to enjoy my vacation.
Free trip to Miami?
Hell yeah.
Where do I sign?
Just put me in a nice Marriott, It's all inclusive? Oh, even better. I'll be at the Cabana. Tony, Greg, you guys just figure it out.
Put a little lemon in the water at the front desk. It's nice.
Do they? And can you imagine the American Conference and the MAC Conference president and just be like, hey, you guys are still talking?
Hey.
Can we get another round of hurricanes? All right, rack them up. I mean, I'll just take my free vacation to Miami. So that is the stupid reality we live in college sports. We have just a bunch of people who are serving their own interest and not the interest of the fans. It's never going to change. It does not matter what you say. It does not matter what you want. It does not matter that you are the consumer. They are going to do what they want. It's frustrating. It's stupid. And yet we're all going to tune in on Saturday to go ahead and watch these games get played. And they know that. And it sucks. And it's dumb. And it's frustrating. But hey, at least it gives us content to complain about because nothing is better. If you want to complain, 402-951-1620, the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. We'd love to take your calls. We got a couple of emails. We got a couple of tweets. We'll read that up. And coming up next, we'll talk about Dante Moore. No report yet so far of whether or not he is going to Oregon and going to the NFL draft. Perfect. I'll tell you why you should care. It's a pretty massive domino. Listen to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Still waiting for Dante Moore to go ahead and make a decision on where he is going to take his talents next year. Will he stay in Eugene? Will he go to the NFL draft? One quarterback who is going to the NFL draft and awaiting his decision is Ty Simpson of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Came out today that Miami contacted Ty Simpson, said, hey, we want you to be the quarterback of the Hurricanes next season. He told them no. Miami struck out with a couple more quarterbacks. They came back and offered him $6.5 million to be their quarterback next season. Ty Simpson said, nah, bro. I am fine. Oh, we got an official update. Oregon, this is from Adam Schefter, just right now. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore is planning to announce his decision about whether he will or won't enter the NFL draft on ESPN Sports Center at 1:30. Whoa.
1:30 here?
1:30 Central Time.
That's coming up.
That is coming up here. All right.
Wow.
This is perfect timing, Josh Hodson. This could not have gone any better. I have prepared a soliloquy almost.
We'll get it out. You got 25 minutes.
As to why this is one of, I got to tell you right now, this is one of the more important decisions we've had in all of sports recently. Okay. It is, let me tell you this much. It is nowhere near the decision of LeBron James deciding to go to the Miami Heat. Okay. It's not on that plane. Okay. There have been more important sports decisions. But as of late, especially in terms of whether or not NFL prospects are going to go into the draft, this is one I can't really think of too many that have had more riding on it, not only just from a college perspective, but from a football, like an NFL football perspective too. This decision affects both sides of the game, which you just don't really see a whole lot, because typically it's a no-brainer to go to the NFL draft. Dante Moore is going to be selected second in the NFL draft. He will be a New York Jet. He is trying to decide, do I want a lot of money to go back and play one more year of football in Oregon, or do I want a ton of money to go and try and be the savior of New York? Something that a lot of people have failed to do. And typically in the recent history of the NFL, it's been, hey, when you're a top 2 pick, man, and you're going to be picked in the top 5, and you are going to go ahead and make a ton of money, you just go ahead, you go to the NFL, you take that draft pick, you make that bag, and you try and make it work. Yeah, you might be going to a dysfunctional fan base, dysfunctional organization, but you go ahead and you try your best. Now, because of the NIL, though, because of this era of college football, we've seen some quarterbacks that have to make some tough decisions. Quinn Ewers had to make a tough decision last year, go to the NFL draft, to go to the transfer portal. He decided to go to the NFL draft. From a money-making perspective, probably didn't make the best decision. Like I just mentioned, Ty Simpson goes ahead and he made the decision of not to take $6.5 million to be the Miami quarterback and instead go to the NFL draft. He's kind of landing anywhere between the teens and the 20s in terms of picks. But let's talk about the stakeholders in this Dante Moore saga. Okay, the first stakeholder, it's pretty close to home. It's Dylan Raiola. Okay?
Boo.
It's Dylan Raiola and it's Oregon, because I think Oregon made the investment in Dylan Raiola, obviously for him to eventually play quarterback for the Ducks. But more importantly, and maybe more ideally, they made the decision, in my opinion, looking at it from the outside, for Dylan to do what Dante did. Come in, be the backup for a year, see the game from the sidelines, learn the Oregon offense, learn under Dan Lanning, then get your opportunity to be the Ducks signal caller, and then up your stock to the point where you can become a first-round draft pick. That is a pitch that even if Dylan wasn't going to be the starter, right? I think that there, obviously is some uncertainty of whether or not Dante Moore is going to do. But if I'm Dylan Raiola, I like that pitch. I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that, because you've seen it happen before. You've seen it worked out before. But if Moore decides to go ahead and go into the NFL draft, Dylan Raiola's quarterback. And there is no wait 1 year and figure things out and learn the offense and see the game. No. You got to come in and you got to perform right away. And Oregon is returning a lot of guys next year and has added plenty to their roster. They are going to be a national title contender next season. So Dylan Raiola goes from a potentially cushy situation of being a backup and trying to replicate what Dante Moore has been to you're thrown in the fire, dude. You got to play well right away. We have an opportunity to win a national championship now. And that is a massive change in circumstance. If you are DR15, it's a massive change in circumstance for the Oregon Ducks. What do the Jets do? What in the hell do the Jets do? Because let me tell you something right now. Ty Simpson is not worth the second overall pick in the draft. He is not. I looked at a mock draft today that had him outside of the first round, that had Trinidad Chambliss going ahead of Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson, first 8 weeks of the season, dude, dog, lighten it up. Looked like he could be the second overall quarterback taken. Last 6 weeks of the season, lost. Looked lost against Georgia. Looked lost against Indiana. Slow to process. Dumb decision-making. Slide, dude. Slide. You're not a running back. You got hurt. Not that your team was going to beat Indiana, but that put the nail in the coffin when you did that and when you fumbled the ball. Had some terrible turnovers against Oklahoma. Single-handedly cost his team that game. I mean, Ty Simpson's poor, inaccurate passing toward the end of the season nearly played Alabama out of the playoffs. And if I'm an NFL scout, there's enough good for me to say, all right, this guy is talented. I think he was a former 5-star. There's enough there for me to draft him in the first round. But if I'm the Jets, I'm saying, okay, I ain't taking Ty Simpson the second overall pick. What the hell do the Jets do?
It's a pretty juicy trade spot for the Jets,
but
right?
is it?
Because there's nobody else that the Jets got to go get this guy. Like, why don't you just go take a bunch of somebody else's pieces because they want, Jordan Tyson or they want Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs.
Here's the one thing that I push back against that. Here's why I push back against that. Because are you really trading all of that draft capital for a linebacker and Arvell Reese? You're really trading all of that draft capital to get up to number 2 to go and take a wide receiver? It's just, I understand maybe trading from 10 to 7 or, 8 to 4 or maybe even like 6 to 3. But to get the second overall pick is and also too, you essentially have the first pick in the draft if you have the second overall pick this year because Fernando Mendoza is going number 1 overall to the Vegas Raiders. So I don't know if the Jets really go ahead and get this very, chummy, abundant draft capital based trade that they can really build the future off of. I don't think anybody really knows what the market looks like.
You just go boring and get a lineman.
Yeah. Do you go ahead and take Spencer Fanu from Utah, offensive tackle, number 2 overall? I like that. Who they got? I forget his name, but he had I think it was they drafted the Missouri offensive tackle who had a really good season this year. The Jets did last year. So go ahead. This definitely affects the Jets. It affects Oregon. It affects Dylan Raiola. Man, it affects Ty Simpson because even if you aren't going to go number 2 overall to the Jets, you now undoubtedly become the number 2 overall quarterback in this draft. And so that decision is going to affect him. It's going to affect really every other team in the draft too, because when you take away a quarterback, everybody kind of moves down the spot as well, right? Tennessee Titans, for example, I think they're sitting there at 4 thinking, all right, bring on Arvell. Bring on our linebacker. Bring him to daddy. Come on, here we go. Give us our guy. And now you're like, oh, I guess not. I think every other prospect is kind of looking at this Dante Moore deal as, hey, we're going to get a lot more money now, right? And this is really going to affect the draft board. But I go ahead and I think it affects this too. Like, it now affects how I feel like college football and the NFL had a very simpatico relationship when it comes to the players in the draft, right? Go ahead. They play 3 years or they play 4 years. They're good enough. They come to the draft, they make a ton of money, then they work to go and get that second contract. NIL has affected the NFL draft, definitely from a later round perspective. You definitely are better off of coming back for a year, making a pretty decent bag, and maybe upping your draft stock, as opposed to just saying, all right, I'm going in, like 5th round draft picks, right? Before players got paid. If you're going in the 5th round, I was going in the 5th round. Hey, it's time for me to go. I didn't have these weird COVID eligibility rules, and I couldn't go into a lawsuit and get an extra year of eligibility or anything like that. It was just like, okay, played here 3 years. All right, played here for 4 years. It was a 3-year starter. Did enough to produce. Where am I getting drafted? Okay, cool. Let's go to the combine. Let's try and up that. Now, it's changed and shifted a little bit where if you're a mid-round draft pick as an underclassman, it's almost as if you are way better off, making money up front now and trying to improve your draft stock as opposed to going in as a 4th round pick or a 5th round pick. We haven't seen it, though, at this level of a for sure 2nd overall pick, top quarterback prospect being lured away from the draft due to money reasons in the NIL era. We've seen, Peyton Manning returned. He could have gone to the draft earlier. He returned because it was like, I want one more year in college. Like that's happened before, but we haven't seen it in this era where it's like, nah, dude, like I know that I can be one of the first 2 picks in the draft. I know I can get a spicy, massive signing bonus and a really nice first 4-year contract with a very big potential 5th-year option. We've never seen somebody with that opportunity on the table and say, no, I'm going to play another year in college. I'd rather take the NIL money. That would shift. That would be a big domino to drop. That would make everybody look around and be like, whoa, okay, that's different.
Also, I'd really prefer not to play for the Jets.
Yeah, I do think too, like, here's my opinion on the Jets. Even if Dante Moore says I'm in the draft, I'm trading the pick no matter what if I'm New York. Okay? I am. I would trade the 2nd overall pick. New York, look, the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. They have not built an infrastructure for their quarterbacks to work out in New York. You've seen it happen time and time again. And what's even more damning about the New York Jets and their quarterback situations has not been their failure consistently. What's been more damning for the New York Jets is the fact that they draft a quarterback, that quarterback fails, that quarterback then goes to a different franchise and has way more success with that different franchise than with New York. It's happened twice now. Sam Darnold is on the brink of potentially going to the Super Bowl. Geno Smith resurrected his career, and for a good portion, for a good 4 years, was one of the most accurate and at times effective quarterbacks in the league. Was he ever elite? No. Was he ever close to being the bad player he was with the Jets? No, absolutely not. So the fact that New York has not only just failed to find their answer, but yet people have taken their trash and used it to answer their own problems just goes to show you just how incompetent that franchise is when it comes to not only, and we've said it over and over again, is it the quarterback that fails the team or the team that fails the quarterback? That was a big question that was asked a couple of years ago. I think that when we do these case studies, we're finding more and more that it's often the team that fails the quarterback. And you have to be a high level player as a rookie to overcome that. Drake May overcame that last year with New England. That was a terrible offensive line that he had with basically 0 weapons and a run game that wasn't even close to being one of the best in the league. But he overcame that. And for the people who watch him play, people called me a madman for when in fantasy football, I kept him as one of my guys. I was in a keeper league. I kept him. You know, why the hell would you keep Drake May? I'm like, did you see him play? Did you see him overcome all those challenges? Did you see him have to act like Superman, launch this ball down the field, use his feet to keep New England, a bad New England team, within games at times? That guy's got it. Do you know who also has it? Cam Ward. Cam Ward did that same thing with Tennessee this year. Cam Ward, there were moments where you're like, this Tennessee team sucks. They stink. And yet, though, man, Cam Ward would make these crazy plays and awesome throws, and just you see him play, you're like, this guy's going to be a superstar. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask from a rookie quarterback. That's rare. That is not the standard. That is a novelty. And if that's New York's strategy, hey, we're going to draft one of these guys and we're going to hope that they're like good enough to overcome all the BS that we're going to put them through. That's not how you play the game of quarterback evaluation and development at all. So if I were New York, I would trade the pick, even if Dante. And by the way, if I'm New York, I want Dante Moore to commit to the NFL draft. So you trade the pick and you get way more of interest in that pick in terms of trading for that pick. Because look, go ahead and read the scouting reports. Dante Moore's Fernando Mendoza is the quarterback. Dante Moore is the prospect. Okay. Dante Moore he's got it. He's got the height. He's got the athleticism. He's got the arm. He's got all the things you need. He needs to improve, but he's the dude. There'd be a lot of people who would be knocking on the Jets' door to go ahead and draft that quarterback. So a lot's in stake. Dylan's a stakeholder. Ty Simpson's a stakeholder. Oregon's a stakeholder. The future of the relationship between college football and the NFL draft, that's a stakeholder. The Jets are a stakeholder. Every team that is picking behind the Jets, stakeholder. Jordan Tyson, stakeholder. Caleb Downs, stakeholder. Jeremiah Love, stakeholder. Arvell Reese, stakeholder. Ruben Baines, a stakeholder. Spencer Bonu's a stakeholder. A lot of people are going to be tuning in at 1:30 on the edge of their seats, being like, what the hell is this former 5-star, formerly committed to UCLA and Chip Kelly quarterback, then turned Oregon superstar? What the hell is he going to do? Because he's going to affect a lot of money coming in my pocket or coming out of my pocket. Whether you're the Jets, you're Oregon, you're Raiola, you're Simpson, or you're any of those players that I mentioned that are just waiting on pins and needles to figure out what this guy is going to do. Do you know who doesn't care? Fernando Mendoza, baby. He's got a game against Miami. He's got a national championship to win for good old Curt Cignetti. So that'll be interesting. In 11 minutes, we will find out. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a break. We'll talk about we'll give you I'm going to go ahead and look through if there's anything notable. I think we've been very good today about giving you news as it breaks, so on and so forth. Adam Thielen retired today. Del Curry is getting his number retired. Giannis Antetokounmpo booed a bunch of his own fans at his own basketball game. Wow. That was crazy. Matt Abdelmassih is gone with no questions asked over at St. John's.
Like that happens more and more.
Yeah, John Harbaugh talking to the Giants. Mike Tomlin not taking a job for next season. Sit and wait, Mike. You'll probably find a more advantageous job. Is the Steelers a good job to have? We're going to talk about that next year on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Soul.
6 minutes away from finding out where Dante Moore ends up deciding to go. Does he go to the NFL draft? Does he go to Oregon? We'll keep you in the loop there. Here's something fun. Ross Dellinger reports the 2026 College Football Hall of Fame class has been announced. A Husker is in it. Ndamukong Suh is going to be inducted into the 2026 College Football Hall of Fame draft. And what an honor to be inducted in this class. Let me tell you, this thing is stacked. Mark Ingram, obviously the University of Alabama running back. Ingram in Aaron Donald going to be inducted in 2026, along with Marvin Harrison. You got Eric Weddle, too, who can forget his time over in Utah. A couple coaches, Gary Patterson, going to be inducted in, along with Chris Peterson, the former Boise State and University of Washington head coach. Chris Peterson had a 79.5% winning percentage over his career. Wow.
James Laurinaitis?
Yeah, John Laurinaitis, the Funk Man, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. If you know, you know. Along with that, too, who could forget Chicago Bears legend Olin Kreutz being inducted into the Hall of Fame from the University of Washington. Did we miss anybody? Anybody notable? No. Oh, hey, Jordan Lynch, the Northern Illinois quarterback who led the Huskies to the golden years of that program. Shout out. I think Jordan Lynch is actually a high school football coach, if I'm not mistaken, in Illinois. I think he's going
the Phillip Rivers route, huh?
Well, I think he's been that way. I'm almost positive he might be the Mount. Yeah. So this is funny. Jordan Lynch, I knew this, is the Mount Carmel head coach. Mount Carmel
with them now.
High school football is the place that Claude Puma, the offensive tackle for the class of 2026 for Nebraska, that's where he comes from. Mount Carmel, a very good high school in Illinois. So Jordan Lynch is coaching that school right now. They are a wagon. They are so good. If Nebraska could get more players from that high school, that'd be great. Somebody who has been very in tune and trying to help Nebraska allow that to happen is their 2027 quarterback, Trey Taylor, who doesn't play for Mount Carmel. He plays for just Carmel, but definitely has relationships with some of those players. So look at that. We're always finding a Husker slant. Josh Hodson.
That's what that was.
Let's see here. Jeff Passan, just Ranger Suarez going to go to the Red Sox. It's their first signing of the offseason, $130 million over 5 years for Ranger Suarez. Congratulations to him. We've had some updates as the day has gone on about the NFL head coaching search. Jim Schwartz going over to the Ravens to have an interview. John Harbaugh, is interviewing with the Ravens today. On top of that, Mike Tomlin more than likely not going to end up grabbing a head coaching job in this cycle. Art Rooney II went ahead and said, "We ain't rebuilding. The Steelers are not going to rebuild. Don't you dare say reset. You dare. Don't you even mention the word reset. It's not like we got rid of a bunch of key coaches that we've had here forever and have getting a new quarterback and we're getting a new running back and we're getting 3 new offensive linemen and we're getting a bunch of new D linemen and we're getting a new wide receiver. Don't you dare say it's a reset. It's not even close to being a reset, you idiot." Josh.
Maybe they should reset.
Maybe they should. Now everybody's making the LaDante Moore, the decision graphics.
Yeah, is Jim Gray going to quarterback the announcement?
I have no clue.
I'm Jim Gray.
Do you think?
Ask you some questions now, young man.
Do you think they'll go ahead and make a spoof about this decision in a couple years from now?
I don't think it'll be as poorly received, no matter what the decision he makes is. So no.
You know what? The decision with LeBron James definitely was the first, like, where were you sport moment of my life.
I was in my mother-in-law's house and I was like, this is great. I don't have to aimlessly scroll the internet and wonder when this person's going to commit. They've told me a time and a place to be. I appreciated it from a programming standpoint.
Okay, this is another instances of where Matt McMaster makes you feel old.
Oh yeah. This should be good.
I was 9 when the decision happened.
Okay. Where were you?
I was in my mother's car. It was a red Ford Explorer that was also bought the day I was born. So we were brothers essentially. And my dad called me in the car and was like, "Hey, the reporters are saying that he's going to probably end up going to the Miami Heat. That's what they're reporting." And it was the first time I realized that that was a thing, that like insider information was like a line of work. Like I didn't know that people knew what was going on before it happened. That was like my introduction to like war, Mark J. Spears and Marcus J. Spears,
so you guys
Woj and
were
everything
not
like that.
no. He's coming to the Bulls.
So
he's coming to the Bulls.
Well, so that's what we thought forever. And like the Sun-Times, the Chicago Tribune,
because that was definitely one of the teams that was like in the mix.
We were second. According to all of we came in second place for LeBron James. What boiled down to was, Derek wanted it to be Derek's team. So that's what occurred. And so he stayed and he didn't end up going to the Bulls. But yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, it was massive in college in Chicago sports of where LeBron James was going to go. And while we're talking about the decision, Dante Moore in his yellow jacket is currently on our screen, about to make his decision of where he's going to go in the NFL draft. Real quickly.
Is it going to take that jacket off and reveal the
Jets
or the?
I'm going to New York, Mom. I'm going to the Big Apple.
What is the lighting?
It is, why does he have like a green screen background? This looks awful.
This does not look.
Do you know what he looks like? He looks like that one. He
looks like a hostage.
No, do you remember in Spider-Man into Beyond the Spider-Verse, the newest one, the cool looking Spider-Man with the afro?
I do, yes.
That's what this lighting makes him kind of look cartoonish now, a little bit with the afro. I forget what that guy's name is, but all right. Are we really going to do? Monica McNutt is really going to drag this thing out.
Oh, yeah. You got to cross.
Oh. Whoa. Okay. Breaking news. Play it. Go ahead and play it. Oh, yeah. I'm about to get clowned in some group chats. Dante Moore will return to Oregon next season. The former 5-star UCLA transfer quarterback who led the Oregon Ducks to the college football playoff semifinals before being stomped out by Curt Cignetti and the Indiana Hoosiers will come back to Eugene, Oregon and run it back all over again.
Go back to the dugout, Dylan.
Yes, he is. So that means Moore in the driver's seat. Well, not in the driver's seat. Moore will be the starting quarterback next season for the Ducks. Dylan Raiola, backup for Oregon next season. New York Jets fans, are they rejoicing that their team isn't going to draft another potential bust quarterback? Or are they mad that an incredible NFL prospect will not be falling into their lap? We will find out the reaction later. I don't know how I would feel if I was a Jets fan. I'll tell you this right now. Arvell Reese is really, really excited because that man could end up making a lot of money now.
I guess if I'm a Jets fan, I'm upset because I wanted a franchise-changing quarterback, but they needed so many pieces that one man was not going to turn that team around.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
One season.
Absolutely. So Dante, I'm about to get clowned, by the way, in one of my group chats, because I was telling everybody before the Indiana game, there's no way Dante Moore's going back to Oregon. There's no way he's going back to Oregon. He could be the number 1 overall pick. He could be the number 1 overall pick. Shut up. I am going to get some clown. I'm going to get run through the ringer in a group chat. But you know what? That's what friends are for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for. Now, am I going to defend myself? Okay. And tell them that they're all idiots? You're damn right they are. You're damn right I will. But for now, we will report on this information like we are true professionals. Dante Moore, head quarterback of the Oregon Ducks, going back to Eugene. He will be the starter more than likely when The Huskers go to Eugene, Oregon next season to take on the Ducks. But do you know what this means? Real quickly, before we go to break and have our last segment of the day. This means that when Oregon returns to Lincoln, Nebraska in 2027, do you know who very well could be the quarterback for the Oregon Ducks, man? Dylan Raiola. That's what we are setting up for. A 2027 tilt between Dylan Raiola and the Oregon Ducks, and maybe Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers in Lincoln. That game will be bonkers. Unless
you think Dylan's going to stay in the same place for 2 consecutive years?
He already did. It didn't go well though. Yeah. But we
you're funny.
Thank you. I'm here. I aim to please. All right, coming up next, we'll tell you what to watch for, and we'll give you our dog of the day. 1-1 and dog of the day. Let's see if I can keep it rolling here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
You know what could be funny? Because I'm assuming, I mean, I haven't read anything about Dylan Raiola, and if this was the plan, if they went to Oregon, I'm just kind of guessing, hey, the plan was we're going to go to Oregon. We're going to be the backup. Wouldn't it be really funny if he didn't know that this was happening and then he ends up back in the portal? Maybe goes to Syracuse of all places. Because it would be...
I could jump in until Friday.
It would be a different... I mean, it'd be very different from what Dylan Raiola has done before, right? Because Dylan, part of the reason I don't think it was... I'm not doubting the genuineness of Dylan wanting to be at Nebraska. I do think, though, it's pretty... from my perspective, I think that Carson Beck returning to Georgia probably had something to do with Dylan going to Nebraska and knowing that he was going to play the quarterback position. And, I don't think...
Now,
there's so many different reports about whether or not, what happened with Dylan in Nebraska and whether or not a quarterback competition was discussed. But he could have come back and had a quarterback competition with TJ Lateef. Who's to say? I don't think it would have been, but it could have been if TJ took strides that we weren't anticipating. All this to say it would be kind of a switch up for him to, knowingly not play a full season and be behind somebody.
We know that this as Husker fans, the difference between committed and signed.
Yes, good point.
In the portal, you would know this better than me. Did Dylan sign with Oregon, or did he commit to Oregon?
I do not know. I could not fully tell you here whether or not he did that. So let's see here. Okay, so he signed.
Okay.
This is from Sam Kahn Jr. I found this pretty quickly. Dante Moore returning to Oregon in 2026 instead of declaring for the NFL draft. Ducks signed Dylan Raiola in the transfer portal earlier this week. Pretty well stocked quarterback room in Eugene. And Ty Simpson's decision to declare is looking even better now that Moore went off the board. I don't know if Simpson is going to jump up to number 2 overall for the Jets. I think that would be a bad decision. All righty, Josh.
All right.
We have not as great of a day as we've had the first 2 days in terms of things to view. This might be a nice day to watch a movie or start a Netflix show, something like that. I'm very curious as to what you're going to recommend for me to watch tonight, Mr. Hodson.
Well, we do have some basketball on the slate tonight. 5:30 on BTN. It is Iowa at number 5, Purdue. Sneaky good matchup. Number 10, Vandy at Texas. 8 o'clock tonight on the mothership, ESPN. Number 14, North Carolina at Stanford, 8 o'clock on ACC Network, because this is a classic ACC rivalry. Arizona State at number 1, Arizona, 9:30 on FS1. And at that same time on BTN, number 4, Michigan is at Washington. NBA doubleheader on ESPN. So the Vandy, Texas must be on ESPN2. I apologize.
Okay.
Cavs, Sixers, 6 o'clock, followed by Nuggets, Mavericks. NHL doubleheader on TNT.
Oh, I'll be watching this.
Flyers, Sabres.
Cool.
Followed by Knights and Kings.
All right.
At 9 o'clock. And Matt, why don't you get a little history lesson tonight? 8 o'clock on ABC, Dirty Talk. When daytime talk ruled television. Part 1, Origin of the Species. Soap operas and game shows set the stage for the rise of the explosive daytime format of the 90s, the talk show. What starts as an earnest, audience-driven forum quickly devolves.
Huh. Okay. I still need to watch the Ken Burns American Revolution documentary.
Whoa, you're a Ken Burns guy.
I am an American Revolution guy. I love the American
Much
Revolution.
earlier than normal.
The American Revolution is one of the most incredible things that have ever happened in our human history that ended up shaping what we know society to be today, because a bunch of just absolutely crazy Americans decided to stand up to the British powers that be and do something that very few nations at that point had done before, which is absolutely defeat and destroy in many ways Great Britain. Great Britain was an incredible power during that time.
I've heard
a ragtag volunteer army in need of a shower ended up defeating a global superpower. I love the American Revolution. I think it's awesome. So I have to watch that before I watch daytime. What is it?
Dirty Talk.
Dirty Talk. Yeah, I think that'll be put on the back burner. I'm probably in. I probably will start like Severance or something like that in the next couple of weeks here, because Tramble Tillman is awesome at his job. All righty, here before we let you go here for Middays with Matt.
Give me a doggy.
The Utah Jazz are at the Chicago Bulls tonight. They are a plus 154 money line. I'll tell you why you should bet this, and you should trust me.
You're going to bet against the Bulls?
Of course I will. Because the Bulls this year against teams that are like good, that have like winning records, are awesome. They kill it. They beat teams with winning records. Teams that aren't good at basketball,
the Jazz,
who are 14-25 this season, they lose to. They already lost to the Jazz earlier this season. They were on the road for that game. The Bulls did that thing that they do where they go on this massive winning streak at the end of the month, and they make you think that they're actually a good basketball team. They're now due to do that thing where they're going to lose a bunch of games, and then they'll win a bunch more. All this could just go 30, 38, and 44, by the way, and be like 9th in the play-in, because that's what this team is.
150 to 147 last time out? My goodness.
It was a hell of a game. So go ahead, take the Jazz tonight, plus 154. Money line against the Bulls. Dogs of the day are 1-1. We lost our first one, which we should not have. We should be 2-0 in dog of the day.
Dogs are barking.
Dogs are barking. Not our feet, but our picks. Thank you so much for listening to episode 3 of Middays with Matt. We hope it was as good as Revenge of the Sith, even though that one of us did not end up in a pool of lava. Tomorrow, we will give you a new hope in sports talk radio as we return. From myself, Matt McMaster, and my awesome producer, Josh Hodson. We will talk to you in 20 hours. The crossover with Unsportsmanlike Conduct is up next.